Just been up always right, growing up so waste that time. So I think I run away, thinking I guess I don't keep on living how I did before. Every day just waking up feels like I'm at war. Every time I turn a page, I'm scared of what's in store. All the pages torn, change I can't afford. I can't take it, I won't make it back. The future lays ahead, but who can tell if it'll last? 'Cause when I look for it, I only see the broken paths. Why am I so attached? I'm burning with a match. Fuck off, wanna take me for a ride, but I won't let him. So cold like an ice pick through the heart, but I won't sweat it. Lost cause, wait a lifetime for the dark, then it's all better. I guess Peter Pan is right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day. I guess Peter Pan was right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day. I guess Peter Pan was right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day.
The Morning Fix live radio show will begin shortly. For your best news coverage and commentary, tune in daily at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Morning Fix. The Morning Fix live radio show will begin shortly. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Monday, another week on the Morning Fix live radio show, the best live radio show on anything social media. That's my opinion, of course, but I want to turn that into a reality. It is 10:07 Eastern Standard Time. It is October 24th. Wow, October 24th, 2022, 56 degrees. Cloudy, nasty, decrepit, disgusting, cold here in New York City. I am happy to be here with you guys. It's Macho, your host of the Morning Fix live radio show. And always, the special appearance with Keisha.
What's up?
Keisha,
What's up?
how was your weekend? How was
Um,
it? Was it good? Was it eventful?
no, it wasn't eventful. It was a weekend. It was nice to have it.
Yeah, it's weekends are great to be
Yeah.
calm and relaxed. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have a set regiment. You don't wake up at a certain time. Except, of course, we got Mr. Full Service want to wake us up at 8 a.m. Eastern. What
Yeah,
is it
that's
your
5
time? What
a.m.
is it
my
your
time.
time?
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
5 a.m. your time. Well, Mr. Full Service, we appreciate on a Sunday morning for some of us non-churchgoers to be up that early on a Sunday and to tune in. I was tuning in to the Morning Fix Simply Sundays on my big screen later in the day as I was cleaning and
Yeah,
getting.
on replay. So don't say you tuned into it. You
I
watched it
didn't
on
tune into
replay.
the live. All right. It's my day off. I'm supposed to relax. Okay.
Okay.
That's what it's Glenn's role, and he's got
Okay.
the lane. That's his
Okay.
place to pick it up, not
Uh,
me. All right.
okay.
So,
I'm having
but he's
moments of
having us wake up, get coffee going, and all of that. Anyways,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
did you enjoy the show yesterday?
I did. I always enjoy watching Glenn. He's so much more together than us.
Yeah, he's monotone. He's
Yeah.
right to the point. He's got his
He's
whole thing
nice.
set up and everything.
Kind.
He's not like a whole mess like us heathens here on the Morning Fix.
Well, more like me, but just saying.
Well, shall we? Let's go down to the list here.
Get
Good
it.
morning. Good morning. We got
Good
Kathy in the
morning.
building. How
Good
you doing?
morning. Good morning.
Brian is driving, and it's
Good
a torrential downpour, but he
morning.
is still tuning in. Thank you, Brian, for tuning in.
We
We
appreciate
have
you. Good morning.
Zombie. What's going on, Zombie? How we doing? We
Good
have
morning.
Nanny.
Good
Nanny
morning.
Shanny. Good morning.
Good morning.
Christina's in.
Good
Heather, good
morning.
morning.
Good
Prince, please don't
morning.
get on the off-centered time. You're supposed to say
Good
10. You have the build
morning.
up, the music going, everything going on, then the intro, then us. So we definitely did start at 10. We started at 10.
Good morning.
All right. We have Katie. Good morning.
Good
Mr. Full
morning.
Service, aka Glenn, who wakes us up so graciously on a Sunday morning.
At 5 a.m.
At 5
Good
a.m.
morning. Good
Hellfire,
morning.
Nanny Shanny, and we have Mandy. Mandy has
Good
done
morning.
spectacular work. I haven't shared the
I
newest
have my
commercial.
video. I have it.
You
I'm gonna
have?
send it to you when it's over. Yes.
Oh yeah,
I
we
finished
have.
it.
You were supposed to do that years ago, Keisha.
Okay.
Mandy can't always wait on the talent. Okay, so
Okay. Well, she doesn't have to. I mean, she could just handle it. I just wanted everybody to know that Mandy is the better half of Mr. Full Service. So we have
yeah,
Mr.
she
and
does a great
Mrs.
job.
Mr. Full Service here. That's nice.
She does an outstanding job for us behind the scenes. She's doing all these kind of like iterations, visuals, and even the commercials that you see. That's all Mandy. The transitions, that's Mandy. She's doing a great job. We
We love her.
appreciate you here. Where would this show be without her? Huh?
I don't know. Where would it be?
Dull. It'll be dull.
Well, they could say that about me too.
Old bitter. Are you old, bitter, and dull? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
Don't
They
laugh
could say
like
that
that.
about me
Don't
too.
do that. Let's not start off Monday with that laugh, okay?
Get it popping. I
All
don't know
right.
why my lips are so damn dry today. I need to drink more
Christina
water.
has said in the chat that attendance is noted. She's already taken attendance.
Thank you, Christina.
And I'm wondering, is that person watching us that claimed they watch us every morning? I highly doubt it. Anyways, a great
Yeah,
start
for
to the
sure.
is something that you brought up with just a few moments ago about this Ulta uprising. And we covered it a slight bit in a TikTok clip about the mansplaining about femininity and whatever. But I think we should just start off today's show kind of talking smack about it a little bit more and just kind of seeing their point of view of what femininity is. By the way, folks, There is a massive uprising against Ulta because of this. But I don't know if it's going to materialize because there's so many people who buy into Ulta who are not conservative, who are not buying into this stuff that you and I ascribe to or everybody else ascribes to that tunes into this. To be fair, Keith.
I don't think that it's just conservatives. I think it's women in general are burnt out. So you probably be more surprised about how many women are pushing back.
But you have to be very careful that you don't sound transphobic.
I don't have to be careful about anything. I don't care how I sound.
Wait, you don't care?
Good morning, Logic. No, I don't. I don't care.
Good
No,
morning, Logic. Every time I see
no.
her name, I feel guilty. We have to get Logic on the show.
Yes, just we'll message her. I'll send you a message, Logic, and we'll get your schedule.
If anybody knows anything about Logic, she's very specific and she's got like that, forward focus.
That's why she's called Logic, because she's Logic.
That's a fact.
No, I don't care.
Excuse me, my bad.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You could say I sound any
wait a minute. You have to be at least some form of politically correct, Keisha. Come on. You can't just go out and just say whatever you want. Oh, I don't like these, F words.
Okay. Sure. No. See, here lines.
You won't say that. You won't say that.
I won't say what?
The F word.
No, I don't use, because that's not a word I use.
That's a dangerous word. That's a disgusting word.
Not, no. It's not that it's dangerous. It's just not a word I use. It's like the see you next
fundamentally,
Tuesday,
you don't like that word.
I don't use that word. Yeah, it's just not a word that's in my vocabulary.
What was it that you said? I'm sorry.
See you next Tuesday. It's just not a word I use. So, with that being said, I don't have to be anything. That's the problem, and that's how we got here. Everyone forcing us into a box to be politically correct, because if you say anything that goes against the grain, it's automatically construed as hate. But guess what? I hate the fact that two men that were born with penises are sitting in a podcast on Ulta that says, what was it? The girly, how to be a girl. Yes, I hate that.
Or femininity, talking anything in that realm.
Yeah, that's disgusting. And
is femininity binary to just women, Keisha?
No.
It's not, right?
No.
So, okay, so then
that's not what it was about, but don't do that.
Okay.
That's not what it was about.
Don't do what?
What's the title? What's the title of the podcast?
What do you mean don't do what?
What's the title of the podcast?
The title of the podcast, let's take a look here. The title of the podcast is The Beauty of ... Girlhood with Dylan Malavery, whatever the hell you pronounce
that part. Bitches with dicks are basically telling us the beauty of it.
But whoa. But hold on. Like, can we build it first? You just jumping right in. We're having a little bit of build up here. Like, how can you just
what's there to build up? It's what it is.
What do you mean, bitches with dicks?
What? It's what it is.
All right, so you're more upset at the fact that these men are talking about anything girlhood related.
Yes. What do they know?
What do they know about being a girl?
Right. That part.
Yeah. All right. So I agree. What do they know about being a girl? However, they could talk about the nuances of what they're experiencing subjectively. Correct? So we're clear. We're not saying men can't talk about femininity, right?
Okay, in what context are we talking about it? Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I want to know where we stand. Where do we stand on this show?
Okay, no, you don't get to be that broad. What context are you asking me this
question?
Are
we saying that men can't talk about femininity at all?
No, don't do that.
Okay, what am I doing?
They can talk about it on a man level.
Like how they enjoy it. Not how they embody
how it relates as being a man. That's where they can speak upon it.
Right, how they enjoy it, not how they embody it. Like
or if men expressing it, like they can have that conversation. I'm down with that.
Oh, male expression of femininity.
Yes.
Okay, see that. So we're okay with that. You and I are on the same page there. We're okay with talking about the expression of femininity, and maybe somewhere around the blurred lines or gray lines of expression or embodiment, right? Men can embody femininity I see some feminine traits in some men, sure. But however, talking
Bitch-ass
about
bitch.
it as a direct experience is the
No,
problem
talking
that we
about
have.
it
We
as
have
an
that problem.
experience of being a girl. That's the
Exactly.
problem.
That's what we're saying. We're on the same page.
Okay,
Why
well,
you
I
snapping
don't
on?
know how
Why
you're
you
saying it. You're
snapping?
going,
Why
like,
you
all
snapping at
around it.
me?
Because you're going all around it. Just say it. I don't know what
Because
that
we
is.
got to build up to it. Why you got to cut
I'm not
through
putting up
the?
shit. It's annoying.
All right, better. Okay,
Press
all right.
play. Do whatever
Let's
they
see what
say to do.
press play. Look, she's already now demanding that I move along now. Okay,
Producer, press play.
we're getting off to a great start here.
You're on your own. Yeah.
You're gone and you're 10 years old. So in that femininity and honoring the inner child, I know that you have your own journey about what that looks like. How does femininity look like? What does it look like to you, especially since your title is, the days of girlhood?
Yeah. Well, here's the beautiful thing. We're at an age where we're allowed to explore as adults. And
I don't know how I have to feel on just perception here. I don't know how to feel here. Okay. Look, I understand that we're in this world and we're in this realm of like, we're non-binary, we're fluid. But here's the thing. There was criticism for a reason when we were growing up, Keisha. Criticism because you were pressing against the norm and you were able to live in it. Here's what happens when people go beyond and live in a world where there really isn't. You're kind of protected. You're patent. So let's talk about this other person before we get into this David Ortiz, which is the person who's hosting this. Let me rewind it back because I want to get this snap image of the other person that they're interviewing.
Dylan.
Here. Yep, Dylan.
I also loved Betty Boop. I don't know where my
mom... Right here. Okay. I want to get a better where we see the eye image. Ugh, not a blurry eye. Whatever. Anyways, is what it is. Okay. Here's my issue with this perception here. We have almost like a Stepford wife child like embodiment character here that this person is now associating or ascribing themselves to be because this is what they believe they are. Now, fundamentally, you say that this person acts like a child, correct?
Yeah, so Dylan is from California originally.
Okay.
Dylan has the X on their driver's license. Dylan one day, this is like Dylan's transition, came out and said, day one as my life as a girl. And slowly over the time, social media, Dylan has transitioned into this young, giddy, like kid image.
Very, very like, yeah, like that. Yeah. Yeah. That's almost like a Stepford wife, right? No anger, emotion, almost robotic, right?
Okay.
Kind of like that. So I have a problem with that because I feel like now we're bringing this again. We're bringing an attraction or putting eyes on young girls inappropriately.
Well, and if you notice, Dylan hasn't made any physical transitions to the body. So it's a very flat-chested, young-looking person.
Yeah. So there's that. And then David
loves Betty Boop.
Have my Betty Boop
but it was just like this hyper feminine character,
Let's talk about David in a moment.
That's exactly what I did when I gave my dad the glass of water. I went boop boop beep, and I remember the look on his face was just.
All right. So David Ortiz is the host of this podcast here. And now here's my issue with this. Now we have really silky, well done, long hair with a really well manicured freaking beard. And now I'm like, look, I know we're living in this non-binary society. I know that but just embodying so much feminine characteristic. My almost inkling is why keep the beard then? Why keep the beard?
David Ortiz is that. David Ortiz. So he's just a gay man.
He's a gay man, but embodying the fullness of a feminine characteristic.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gay man. I respect David Ortiz more than I respect that thing that's sitting across from him. I mean, he makes more sense. I mean, he makes more sense. He's a gay man. I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
That
It's
was
like
it.
pure disappointment. Like,
He's like,
what
"Oh."
is this? You almost feel like as a child, someone looked at you like you're a monster. Like, what is this creature that just stood before me?
Well, he was like, I give up. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't,
literally.
you're on your own. Yeah.
You're gone and you're 10 years old. So in that femininity and honoring the inner child, I know that you have your own journey about what that looks like. How does femininity look like? What does it look like to you, especially since your title is, the days of girlhood?
Yeah. Well, here's the beautiful thing. We're at an age where we're allowed to explore as adults. And who I really feel for is
All right. We're at an age that we're allowed to explore as adults. We've always been there, right? But there are certain constraints we've always kept before us for wisdom reasons. Now, we could argue religiosity, we could argue wasn't politically correct, wasn't socially acceptable, but there were certain elements to why people had specific quiet clubs, or in the hood they call them DL clubs, down low clubs, right? Where you can be who you want to be, where you want to be, explore with who you want to explore with in a quiet, separate place on your own terms. But you do this outside. Why? Because of you don't want to deal with the backlash. You don't want to deal with the confrontation or the physical harm. A lot of these men are hurt. They get
Oh my
hurt.
God. We have our first spam. We have our first spam in
Well,
the chat.
well, the beauty of it is that AJ's a moderator and AJ can handle that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So
I can't.
yeah, it's
Go ahead.
well, actually, it's in YouTube. I don't even know how. No, it's in YouTube. It's okay. We'll figure that out. Anyways, but yeah, it's just how do we? Why is it that now we say, oh, we're entering an age that we could explore? No, we're exploring publicly. We're out in the open. It's in the mainstream and it's widely acceptable. That's the distinction of what we're talking about here. It's not that we've never been able to tap into this, is that now it's mainstream and it's mainstream acceptable. It's like almost like, oh, it is what it is. In fact, we're gonna write bills to protect you. We're gonna write this to protect, as if now one over the other kind of thing. So it is what it is. Look, anything you have before I play?
No.
For kids and teens that don't have the opportunity to express themselves the way that we obviously wanted to once upon a time.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of hate about calling myself a girl and not a woman. And because, that term, they think I'm infantilizing myself, or that, once you turn 18, you're no longer a girl. And I'm like, what about tell that to the Spice Girls? You know what I mean? Or like, are we going on a girls trip, or my girlfriend?
Hot girl summer.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think some of that's rooted in transphobia. But I think what the beauty of femininity, specifically for you and me, has been finding it in adulthood, because we're picking up the pieces that were left behind a long time ago. Even that, you at 10 and telling that story of Betty Boop, like when you saw that look that your dad gave you, that told you something, and you banked that moment, and you might have self-corrected. And I know I self-corrected over and over again up until just like 2 years ago. I think we're on a similar timeline.
Yeah.
All right, none of this has anything to do with femininity, by the way, but we continue.
And the pandemic was a huge moment to be like, oh, none of this really matters. I might as well be who I want to be. And I think I never saw myself as beautiful before this gender identity sort of journey started, because I didn't think boys were allowed to be beautiful. And I was like trying to be handsome, and yet that didn't feel right either. And so it is.
And that right there is the gender confusion, because men are not pursuing to be beautiful. They're pursuing to be, have this exertion of strong leadership qualities, to stand firm in who they are. So here's where I could speak for myself. You might have some thoughts first. We'll get to your thoughts. Go ahead.
I'm just annoyed.
Why are you
What
annoyed?
the problem is for me is that literally this person, Dylan, has said so much and said nothing.
Oh, a whole bunch of nothing.
So it's like, there's all these labels and stereotypes of what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man. Listen, I've seen some beautiful ass men. Okay, you look at them, you're like, damn, wow, wow, you're beautiful, because it's a visual thing. Okay, it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with you being a man. It has nothing to do with you being a woman. I literally just listened for, I don't know, 45 seconds of my life that I'm never gonna get back. A person try to explain what this means. See, that's the problem. If it was naturally for you, you wouldn't need to explain it. And that's the part that people don't understand. How is it that I walked around in this body my entire life and I can't explain to you what it feels like to be in this body? I have no idea. There's women all over the earth and we all look different, we all behave different, we all act differently. It doesn't change the fact that we are women. So when I have someone sitting in front of a microphone telling me and trying to explain to me what it is that they believe in their fucked up, warped mind, you sound and look stupid, because how I can't even explain it. There's nothing to explain. This is just what it is. This is what it is. So it's very frustrating that we keep allowing this behavior to continue to happen over and over and over and over and over. When you were born this way and you can't explain it, how the hell is this person going to explain? You know why? Because it doesn't make sense. You know why? Because it's wrong. You know why? Because you know you don't belong in that space. Therefore, you're trying to justify why you're there. That's the problem.
Right.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
think
done.
that for me, when I look at most people, particularly men, I'll speak for men, and maybe you'll build on it from a lady's perspective. There comes a time during the teenage years, early young adult years, where you will feel insecure about who you are, what you want to do, what you're pursuing, maybe unsteady, maybe you're an idealist, maybe you're a visionary, maybe you have all these kinds of things wrapped into whatever it is that is you're contemplating. And there needs to be that assurance where usually from a male's perspective, they lean on to a male mentor. That's the beauty of having a dad. So if you don't have a dad, like I didn't, then you can turn around and find a male mentor who can guide you through those emotions so that you can become secure in yourself. The minute you're secure in yourself, it locks in. There is no insecurity on who you are, what you are, and where you want to go, which is the most attractive quality. Men don't pursue to be beautiful, they don't pursue to be handsome. They pursue to be secure in who they are. And once they are who they are and they're secure in who they are, the rest is history. Then the eye is beyond it's on the beholder. So if you determine that a man is beautiful, that's on you. You
Right.
determine he's handsome, it's on you. It's outside of you. Where I feel is on narcissistic traits is where you're constantly thinking about how you're perceived. That ruins your growth. That
Correct.
delayed my growth significantly because all I kept thinking about is how am I being perceived in this circle when I go to the store, when I'm in this school, when I'm in this class, when I'm at work. How am I being perceived? How do people around me look at me? How do they encounter me? That's where you stunt your growth and you don't grow and secure in yourself because you're so fixated on how you're perceived. That's narcissism.
Okay, but this
We're
is
literally
deeper than
entering the
that.
age of pure narcissism.
No, but this is deeper than that. This is deeper than that. And the reason it's
Okay.
deeper than that, narcissism is here, right?
Hmm.
It's just a way of getting people to perceive you here.
Right.
We have opened up a spectrum that has allowed gay men, because they feel more feminine, to think that they should be women, because that's a trait of women. That's the problem. Because what is it that they feel? This person has yet to explain why they feel like they're a girl.
Hmm.
That doesn't even make any sense. It's like the story I've always told. I've always said I should have been born a boy. I always say that. But there was at no point that I think I was in the wrong body. It's just a mentality. So if my parents had been these parents, I would probably be a boy today. I probably would have transitioned into a boy. because they would have made me believe that's the body I needed to be in.
Or that you
So
have the choice to choose.
right. Yeah, or
Mhm.
that I have the choice to choose. But ideally, I don't even know what it means to be a boy, which is funny, right? I say that
Yeah.
just as experiencing it with my brother or seeing my dad or whatever, but I have no idea what that actually feels like. So
Legacy is not something you choose. Legacy is something that you kind of grow into because
my
somebody
goodness,
passed that
Jesus,
into.
thanks me.
Your mom and your dad passes down that legacy. So to hear this new wave of like, I'm not going to choose for my child, we are going down a dangerous path. We are literally looking to children who don't have a fully developed brain. First off, which I find very contradictory because they don't think about the child in the womb. But when the child's born, now you get all the choices in the world.
Why are all the dirty men in the comments?
That's the thing for me that drives me nuts. So like Keisha said, this is the biggest non-answer you're going to hear about femininity because guess what? He's a man. He's not going to know what it is to talk about this stuff. And again, I agree with you, Keisha, to a point where you say that you can't explain who you are. You can. You can explain about your experience, about how you are in the space. As a woman, there's certain things you can talk about. I can't.
Okay. Yeah, like what? Some guy whistling at you? What it's like to have what it's like to have breasts? Like, yeah, okay, I get that. But who we are is who we are. Like, I have no idea what it's like to be you. I have no idea what it's like to be even another female, right? We all experience different things, but who I am is not a feeling. It's just kind
Well,
of
I'm
who
going to
I
play
am.
devil's advocate. What about this whole thing tells you that it is what it is? But their argument is that, hey, this is a social construct. We can make it what we wanted to make it. It's
Okay.
not binary. So
Sure.
you're saying that it stays the way it is, oh, male, female, but they're saying, why does it have to stay that way?
Because you have a uterus and you bleed out of it because you have a damn vagina, because you have a penis, because you have testicles. That's why. Like
I have
our
a
body
prostate. I have a
Yes,
prostate
our
too.
body makeup is just different. It just is
Mhm.
not the same. You can't you'll never be able to put a baby in a male body because it's not genetically crafted and made to give birth. So
Well, this is what happens when you
it is
pursue equality.
what
This is
it
what happens.
is. It
Yeah. When
is
you
what
pursue
it is.
equality and not only just pursuing equality, but also equity, that starts to now open the door to everything being uniform and blanketed. Hey, we're all equal, we're all the same, and we all could be whatever we want to be.
Sure.
And now it's like there is no
I'm over
wisdom
it.
in that society. There's no wisdom.
I'm
Let's see
over
what
it.
else they got here. Let's see.
I
Let's
don't
check
even
it out.
care. I don't even
What do you mean?
care.
What do you mean?
I don't care.
It's really special to look in the mirror or like have my makeup done and be like, oh my
I don't even
gosh,
wear
this
makeup.
is what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
So I think
Is makeup femininity?
No.
Right? It starts to it leads to
Ask
more
AJ.
questions.
He wears
beauty
stage makeup in
really
his
is, it's the
TikToks.
potential. I don't think beauty for me is like an end goal or like a one thing, a one look or a one specific moment. It's the ever-changing potential to see myself in a light that makes me really happy.
Yeah.
That's narcissism.
Okay.
But
Well,
you're
that
saying
was
that
fun.
goes a step further. But I understand. But it's all
But
about how they
here's the
see
stupidity.
themselves.
No, here's the stupidity.
Yeah,
He's sitting across from a man with a full beard wearing makeup. Just stop it.
facts. Just
Okay.
can we all stop, please?
Stop. Okay.
We're
Let's go
gonna
on.
continue talking about that podcast and the backlash throughout the entire week. We're gonna cover more and more of it piece by piece throughout the entire week to have the discussion about it. I wanted to lead the discussion with that because I thought, hey, it's a great way to start on Monday here on the Morning Fix, and perhaps maybe lead to different other various conversations that, hey, it might take us different places. We don't know.
Let's do it.
But yeah, let's take a quick break and let's unveil our new commercial, Keisha, that Mandy made.
Let's do it.
What do you think of that? I
I think I
see
should be spotlighted more.
that. What?
I think I should be spotlighted more.
Oh my God! It's all about. I should have more appearances on that commercial.
Yeah. I think that I should be like have my own like highlighted section.
You need
That
your
was
own
great. Loved
section.
it.
We're gonna grow that. There's more to that. There's gonna be a lot more to that.
I
So
love it. Thank
that's
you,
the
Mandy.
initial start of it. But it looks great. I like it. And so far, right now, I checked on the rant room, by the way, and the Morning Fix merch is still available. It looks like I could be wrong, and I'm sure Mr. Rant Room will correct me, but it looks like it's still available. If you haven't gotten it, get it now. What are you waiting for? Get your mug, get your T-shirt, and join us on the Morning Fix. Send us that picture so we can build this this whole army, so to speak. Anyways, did you see that debacle of Joe Biden last night on the and as he was interviewing on the MSNBC? Did you see it? Let's all zoom in on Keisha's face. Are you okay? Oh, the look says it all. The look says it all.
Okay.
Anyways, I have to say that if anyone out there, any leftist, any liberal, any progressive, any Democrat, any moderate, if you voted for Joe Biden because you didn't want Donald Trump in office, you voted for a person who is at cognitive decline, who is deteriorating before our eyes. We've been saying this from the very beginning. You voted for the wrong candidate. I'm sorry. You voted for the candidate that couldn't campaign. He was in his basement, for crying out loud.
Okay, can you just
The guy
stop?
doesn't have a pulse. The guy doesn't have a pulse on the real American issues. We
Mm.
cover that here on the Morning Figs.
Oh
The
my
guy
God.
is talking about global concern rather than American concern. When
That
he
part.
says that the economy is strong like hell, I'm concerned more about the world economy. What?
Mm.
These are the things that why people are rising up and calling themselves what? America
Mm.
First politicians.
Mm.
Because when you care about America first, we are
Mm.
good. Therefore, the rest of the world knows what to look up to. That's it.
How about you voted for someone who can't even stay awake in a live interview?
Unbelievable.
How about you voted for
Unbelievable.
someone who can't put their words together? How
Tell
about
them.
you voted for someone who can't keep their thoughts?
Let them know.
Stop it.
Mm.
Stop it. Like,
As I
come
pour
on.
more coffee. I need more coffee.
Like, come on. Like, serious.
Are
For
we
real?
serious? Are we for real? We're real.
Are you for real?
That man fell asleep
I mean,
during a live interview. Talking about his wife, by the way.
okay.
Let's roll the film, shall we?
Not made that formal decision, but it's my intention. My intention to run again. And we have time to make that decision.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh,
Dr. Biden thinks that, my wife thinks that,
Well, at least he knows it's his
that
wife.
that we're doing something very important.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. First off, he didn't answer the question. I don't know if you guys got that, which does your family, does your wife support you running again? That's the question. He
Well, you didn't let
nods
him
off.
answer.
What do you mean I didn't let him answer? That was the answer. That's it.
No, how you know? You didn't let it play.
I did. There's another clip after that. That's different. That's the clip. That's the soundbite.
Hmm.
Think about it.
I don't
Let's
need to
do it.
think about it. I
Let's
was
do it
trying to
again.
give the man the benefit of the doubt.
Wait, did you vote it? Did you vote for Joe?
I have not made that formal decision, but it's my intention. My intention to run again. And we have time to make that decision.
Dr. Biden is for it.
Okay, here we go. Mr. President.
Mr. President. Oh,
Dr. Biden thinks that,
You know when somebody's like, oh, you know when somebody's like that, sounds like he's trying to grab his, hey, hello.
Mr. President.
Listen,
I mean, we
this
can't even speak
dodo
on black
bird-
issues anymore because we're not black.
This dodo, God,
Just
this
saying.
dodo bird here like we said, you voted for the wrong guy, and I hope you guys are happy. You don't have enough money to
He's
put.
doing a great job.
What is he
Come
doing a great
on.
job at? What
Eating
exactly?
ice cream, nodding off, mumbling, not
Mumbling,
completing
bumbling
sentences.
buffoon,
Yeah,
mumbling, bumbling,
falling off bikes.
falling off
Uh,
place.
I mean, I'm sure there's some other things that he's really good at. They're not
Maybe
coming
we
to
should
my
have maybe we
thoughts
should
right
have
now.
Mandy create a montage for us of
We
all the
did it,
things,
Joe.
all
We
the great
did
things
it.
Joe Biden has done since he's been in office.
He's managed to destroy my entire retirement. Uh, you know, he's made it so we can't afford to buy groceries. I mean,
81 million votes for a teleprompter.
there you go. He can't even do that right. He can't even read that right.
But wait, he was a professor. He was a professor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
That part.
we could make a short clip. Nothing really long. Just some kind of like him falling off the bike, him shaking his
Yep.
hands
End
with
of quote.
Ghost,
There you go.
and the
Yeah.
quote. Yeah, all of that
Yeah.
nonsense. Well, here's a little bit more of that interview when he talks about, hey, I understand people are worried about am I in good shape? Just watch me. Here's what he says. Continuing to just watch me. Oh, we're
Okay.
watching, Joe.
Doesn't run again. Convince Aunt Gloria that she should stick with you.
Well, I think Aunt Gloria should take a look. I think it's a legitimate thing to be concerned about anyone's age, including mine. I think that's totally legitimate. But I think the best way to make the judgment is to watch me. Am I
we're
slowing
watching.
up? Am I don't have the same pace as her? And that old joke, everybody talks about the new 70s, 50s, and all that stuff. It could be. I'm a great respecter of fate. I could get a disease tomorrow. I could, drop dead tomorrow. But
You already did.
If people are trying to know if you could do the job, the last thing you want to say is I could drop dead tomorrow. Like he asked the question, how can you assure us that you're the guy, you're fit for this job? And this is where you go down, hey, the 60, 70. First of all, he's mumbling, he's all over the place. What is he talking about, Keisha? What is he talking about?
I don't speak ignorant or dummy, so I have no idea.
Wait, you don't speak Bidenese?
No.
That's why I hired you for this show, because you speak Bidenese. You voted for Joe Biden.
I lied on my resume. I lied on my resume to get the job.
Mandy, we cannot have people who lie on their resumes to get this job. This is ridiculous.
I lied on my resume.
We got to go to HR with this one. You voted for Joe Biden.
I knew you would just assume that I did because I was black, so I could pretty much say anything.
Exactly. Of course I assumed. I just looked at you. We're supposed to vote for Joe Biden, us black and brown folk. We're supposed to be voting for the Democrat side.
Brown. You're not even brown.
Excuse me. If you saw me in person, you will see that I'm brown. Stop it.
If I saw you in person.
Yeah. All right. Don't let these lights fool you.
If I saw you in person. Okay.
You see, you know what? This is what happens when you work nights. When you work nights. When you work nights and you don't get a lot of daylight sun.
Saw you in person. Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
All right.
I was just commenting on if I saw you in person.
Yeah, you keep going with the you keep.
Yeah, because I'm confused on what being in person is going to change your color. I look the same in person as I do right now.
Some people look a little lighter and a little darker on camera. Or you never know.
You're white.
Far from it. Far from.
Show us the part of your skin that's brown.
You see, my face is brown. It's like a tan complexion. It's like tan. It's like tan. What are you talking about?
You're not tan. But
all right, guys. What do you guys think in the chat? Am I white? Am I white?
You're white. You're pretty pasty there.
No way. Oh my God. I'm sick of it. All right, let's continue.
Same color as Joe.
I'm the same color as Joe, she says. Oh my
look at
Lord.
That. He looks white to me. Thank you, true.
You got people on
and
your
that's
side.
a white man. He takes one.
You got
to know
people
one.
on your side. I'm
takes
sick
one
of
to know one.
All right, let's go.
In terms of my energy level, in terms
Yeah,
of
man.
how much I'm able to do, I
Mhm.
think people should look and say, does he still have the same passion for what he's doing? And if
Oh,
they think I
Jesus.
do and I can do it, then that's fine. If they don't, then they should vote against me. Not against me, they should encourage me not to go. But that's not how I feel. I can't even say the age I'm going to be. I can't even
Whoa,
get.
whoa, 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 whoa! What just? Whoa! What just? What just? Why does man put his double hands on his shoulders? Like, if we're talking about systemic
How tall
racism,
is the president?
I think he's probably like 6'2" or something, 6'1"
Oh,
maybe.
interesting. Okay.
Wait a minute. Why are you that close? Why are you putting your hands like that as a white man on a
I
black
thought he was
man's
going in
shoulders
for a
like that?
kiss.
It looked like it was, right? He was about to get
He
real
did.
romantic with him.
He did. He's like,
Hold on,
hey,
let's see. Hold on. Look at
Daddy.
this. Look at this image right here. Look at this shot. And
Hey,
the
Daddy.
interviewer is just smiling at him. They're looking eye to eye. This is terrible optics here. This is
Mm,
terrible.
mm.
What you doing with the commentary over there? What's going on?
Nothing.
What's wrong? What's up with you?
Nothing. I'm watching watching the video. Jeez.
Oh my Lord. Anyways, what is wrong with JoJo Bean these days?
The same thing that was wrong with him when supposedly 81 million people voted for him.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Nothing's changed, actually. It's just getting progressively worse.
It is. It is getting progressively
Christina,
worse.
you're not tall enough, Christina.
And you know what else is getting progressively worse? The
What?
Democrats that follow him, like the dinosaur, the crypt keeper herself, Nancy Pelosi, when she says the dumbest, idiotic thing on Face the Nation yesterday. Here's where
Yes.
she attributes
Watch her
the
teeth almost fall
economy.
out. Watch her teeth almost fall out.
Well, the phenomenon. Yeah, let's rewind it back a little. Let's rewind it back.
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
month or so, and I see very clearly that the ownership of the ground is with us. It's about getting out the vote. Everything else is a conversation compared to that. But in order to do that, you have to have inspiration. You can't run on empty.
Sure.
And the fact is that when I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. The EU.
The crypt keeper almost lost her teeth. As Keisha noted, she almost lost her teeth. And because I would also add, you almost lost your teeth because that's bullshit.
That part.
Talk about inflation, as I heard him there. We have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. Yes. The EU, the European Union, the UK, the British have higher inflation rate than we do here.
Sure. But it's not a global phenomenon.
Why do we care?
We care because 81 million dodo birds voted this side.
Oh my God.
81 million dodo birds are going to sit back and believe that inflation is a global phenomenon, despite the fact that every respectable economist, right and left, no matter where they stand politically, does not attribute inflation as a global phenomenon. They say it's a government instructed thing. The reason why inflation happens, pure and simple, is because government prints more money than they should. Period. So that means you and I have more money than we didn't earn in our pockets to buy the same goods that we normally buy times 20 that is not available. So what? Like, that's how inflation happens. Now, it's not a global phenomenon. It's not a naturally occurring crisis. There's nothing natural about inflation.
The fun part about this is they continue to justify what's happening here by what's going on somewhere else. That's the cute part about
That's a problem. Like, whoa, just
Really?
because, first off,
Really?
what about the inflation that was going on in Germany before the war?
Okay.
Apparently they had to take, hold on, Keisha, they had to take wheelbarrows of money to buy a gallon of milk. That inflation didn't hit America. That inflation didn't hit America.
I will say it again.
Okay. All right.
If you go to the circus and you keep looking up, the lion is going to come across the thing and bite your head off. Okay? So what I suggest you guys do when you go to the circus, Pay attention to your surroundings. If you hear the lion roaring and the roaring sounds like it's getting closer, you might want to look at it. Pay attention because
Facts.
it's getting ready to bite your entire head off and eat you alive.
Yeah.
That part. Okay. That's all.
Let's. Can we see this again? Her teeth almost falling out. Can we try and check it out
No,
again?
because I'm getting ready
Yes.
to
The
vomit.
EU, the European Union, the UK, the British have higher inflation rate than
Let's
we
do it again.
And
Hold
the
on.
fact
She
is,
just like
is
spit
that
a loogie right now.
when I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change
Inflation.
that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon.
Yes.
The EU,
Phenomenon.
the European Union, the UK.
I'm so burnt out.
I should have this clip playing on TikTok over and over again. Phenomenal.
I'm so burnt out.
You're burnt
And you know what's
out.
crazy is that people literally still like them. Like,
Not only like them,
like
they love them.
my
They
dog
love-
speaks clearer and gives better understanding of what he needs than these buffoons.
Oh my God. Creed is able to speak better than them? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I know
David?
when Creed needs to throw up. That's how good he communicates.
Well, let's go to not only Nancy, the Crypt Keeper, gets it wrong, but another old person who's been in politics for far too long, in Bernie Sanders, gets it wrong often. And this is why, folks, you're not seeing any changes, because you keep hearing the same argument and excuses over and over again. Every election cycle, every midterms, you're hearing the same excuses, and it's like, it's the definition of insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. This is why you'll have sound bites like this. Here's Bernie Sanders with Mr. Liar Jake Tapper, literally lied to Congress, and the same lie that apparently, because what is it? The Steve Bannon character didn't want to cooperate with the January 6th Select Committee. He's getting 4 months in prison. This guy literally lied to Congress and got a CNN segment. Here we go.
Is at a time when working families are struggling, having a hard time filling up their gas tanks, paying for food, paying for prescription drugs. We are living in a nation today where the richest people are doing phenomenally well. And one of the reasons for inflation is the incredible level of corporate greed. Check out the profits of the oil companies.
If we can get a dime for every time this man blames corporate greed, if we can get it, first off,
As he
can
swims
anyone-
in money.
as he swims in it, he's probably drowning in money right now at this point with the scandal that he had with the college, the university.
Yeah.
So
okay.
just want to put that out there for you folks.
That part.
My whole thing is corporations, first off, corporate, screw corporate. Businesses do not make money from raising prices. They make money from lowering them. So this is why I don't understand what the hell this guy is talking about. Time in and time out. I don't understand what he's talking about. Because the least, for example, we live in a world where there's Amazon. Amazon gets products from around the world. Why would I stay fixated on one particular business that's raising their prices while there's a country in Indonesia, China, lowering their prices? Where do you think as a consumer you're going to go buy your products? Where it's economically feasible for you. You may want quality over quantity. Who knows? Who cares? At the end of the day, you're talking about barely able to fill your tank, barely able to buy your food. Well, guess what? I'm going to go to the lowest common denominator, deal with it, suck it up, buy cheap food, buy cheap gas, buy cheap products. That's how it works.
But it
Every
only impacts the
employer
working
knows this.
person. Yeah, but it only impacts the working person.
Yeah, every working person knows where to go to buy cheap shit, period.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That's why he keeps talking like this. It keeps young people deluded, and they keep voting for him, which is incredible.
The drug companies, the food companies, their sky-high profits are ripping off the American people, and there are studies out there that estimate that 50% of inflation has to do with corporate greed. So I think what the Democrats have got to say is
50% of inflation. You see how much they're trying to blame on corporate greed or as a global phenomenon? So you, on one hand, you have it, global phenomenon. 50% of it is corporate. None of it is my fault. None of it has anything to do with the $1.2 billion-dollar bills we've been passing. None of it has nothing to do with the billions of dollars we sent to Ukraine. None of it has to do with the fact that we can't mitigate and quail that issue. And none of it has to do with the sanctions we put on Russia. None of it has to do with me. It's everything to do with thee. They are the ones. They are the problem. Hey, it's a global issue. We assume no responsibility and we provide no solutions, no trade-offs, nothing. We got nothing for you but to expose it. Let's continue listening to dumb old Bernie Sanders.
We are going to stand with working people. We're prepared to take on the drug companies. We're prepared.
We're going to take them on a long fight. There it is. This is what the Benjamin Crumps do, the lying blacktivists. We're standing. What did they always say? What do all these activists always say? Well, we've come a long way, but what? We got a long way to go because that keeps them employed. I'm not stupid.
Well, I don't even know why we keep having the conversation because they keep saying the same thing. Like we've heard all of this
every
before.
single time.
It's not new. So
why
like,
was
I don't
Trump
understand.
why was Trump campaign so successful? Because he was telling us something that we already knew, number one, but we heard it differently. What do you have to lose? Probably single-handedly got him elected. That's number one. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And if he runs on that again, if all the other America First politicians runs on that again, to which Liz Cheney calls America First politicians now, get this, not a threat to democracy, calls them Putin sympathizers now.
Whatever.
Anything to do to cleave on and hold on to power. We're going to call you racist, white supremacists. We're going to call you Trump supporters. We're going to call you authoritarian thugs. People who are against women's rights, now Putin supporters. Why? If I'm an America First politician or America First constituent, why would I care about Putin? Majority of the America First people don't even mention that man's name.
It's called a distraction.
It's a distraction.
We live in a world today
galvanize.
of a lot of labeling. Everything is a label. They got to put a label on everything.
Yep.
So that's the world we live in today. So people can either accept it or not, but that is the world we're living in.
Mm-hmm. It
So,
is what it is. It is what it is. Are we ready for Sports Hour today? Are we ready?
yes, AJ joining us.
And I'm glad you're here because sometimes you like to run when your team loses. So just,
My team sucks. But I am gonna. I'm just gonna start rooting for like the Cleveland Browns at this point because it's all the
she
same.
said the Cleveland Browns. You got some, but sometimes you like to run when your team loses. So I'm glad to see you here. And we're talking about your team
actually
first.
going to run away right now.
In about a half hour. We got you for 30 minutes of Sports Hour.
No,
Don't
I'm
you
gonna
go
leave
nowhere.
now.
We're gonna start with your losing ass team, all right?
For what? They suck. What's there to talk about? They suck. They got their ass whipped. Like they got their ass handed to them.
Facts.
Okay,
But
like chopped off and said, "Here, bitch, you can have this."
don't go anywhere, folks. AJ's about to join us right now for Sports
Whatever.
Hour on the Morning Fix. All right, welcome to the Sports Hour here on the Morning Fix. Thank you for tuning in. It is Monday, October 24th. It is what now? 11:03 Eastern Standard Time, 58 degrees still in this ugly, decrepit, nasty, rainy day. Hey, it is okay because you get to tune in here and get to sit back, relax, and stay comfy because me and AJ and Keisha should be back in a moment. We're about to cover some of the games that happened last night. By the way, out of the gate, we don't normally talk baseball, but I do. I love baseball, love hockey, which I'm gonna probably strong arm these two to watch hockey. Anyways, the Phillies, Keith Hernandez said this about I want to say a month and a half ago. Keith Hernandez used to be the first baseman for the 86 Mets. Used to be a first baseman for the 86 championship Mets, is now the commentator for the New York Mets. Did not want to go to see the Phillies and commentate over that game. Why? Because he doesn't respect the team. He doesn't think they were a good enough team. And he said they're not up to it. Well, he's going to have to eat his words, Mr. Hernandez, because the Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series to play against the Houston Astros. Unreal. No one would have called that. Vegas did not peg them for it. It's incredible that the Philadelphia Phillies and Bryce Harper have made it to the World Series, which leaves Yankees with a lot of question marks, which I'm hoping that Aaron Judge becomes a New York Met. Wishful thinking, but anyways, is what it is. AJ, what's going on, man?
What's good? Where's the loser? Where's the loser?
Loser said that she had to step away for a moment.
I ain't buying that. But whatever. Got mollywopped.
I mean, absolutely destroyed.
Oh my gosh.
With the addition of Christian McCaffrey, which I don't think, obviously he doesn't know the playbook. I think he's sitting back riding pine for a little while. And then, maybe once they start getting him in with Garoppolo, I think that tandem is going to work very well. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean the man had a day and a half. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what do we think?
He's gonna need some time. Yeah.
I mean, you're coming from one coast to the other, and then you got to learn a whole different system. Like, you're not gonna get that a day and a half. But
we're gonna tap into this. I'm sorry, AJ. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. But then he hit like 38 yards. So when he had the ball, he looked good. Let's go.
Certainly
Stay healthy.
did.
Stay healthy, Christian.
Hopefully he does. But you know who else doesn't need time? It's Mr. Walker III. We're going to tap into this game in a bit. What a game Walker III had for the Seahawks. Unbelievable. Watch the highlights. First off, the blocking. I was a center, so I always watch the line and how they do it. Man, the line was outstanding for the Seahawks. Again, superb coaching, superb. You can tell they pay attention to the details. And congratulations to Walker III. Had a monster game. We're going to cover that. But I want to talk about this guy saying it with his chest in Kyler Murray. All of a sudden now wants to come out up on his head coach. Check this clip out.
Oh, boy.
And Murray barking his way over to the sideline. Murray had a lot of that.
And for anyone, you're not going to hear this on PGTV. He's telling his head coach because they were at the end zone, AJ, right? Mm-hmm. They're at the end zone. And the time starts to wind down. And instead of taking the delay of game call, the coach elects to call a timeout, which he should. And Kyler Murray comes to the sideline telling his head coach to calm the fuck down. Why?
Could you imagine any of the old school players going up to their coach and saying that they would immediately be sent the fuck out of the fucking arena? They would be gone. You would be gone. Like, you would never walk up to an old school coach and talk to them like that. And the only reason why he's doing that because he knows he's a protected class. That's it.
And it was good to look in old school days. I'm gonna play the rest of this clip. It can't help but notice that there's still that aura, because even Mr. Hopkins comes by and is like, yo. He's not looking at the coach. He's looking at the player. Right. Yo, come on, stop this, right? But in old school days, like AJ is saying, that player would have dogged him out right there. It would have looked different back in the day. I can't imagine anyone during the days of the Buccaneers. It was Warren Sapp, who the head coach just got fired from the Raiders. Remind me his name again? Gruden. I can't imagine anyone dogging Gruden in the face and Warren Sapp allowing it, who was the leader of that team.
Oh my God.
There's no way. There's a pecking order on this team, and you're not going to violate that. Look, we make more money than the head coach, but we still understand that there's a pecking order. You disrespect him, you disrespect me. Fact. That's not going to happen like that, all right? So we're going to bring back the loser here. But there's more to this clip, folks. Just check more of this out. What we're talking about.
The fuck?
Oh my.
She's feisty. She's feisty this morning. All right.
Energy
I'm not a
last
loser.
week against Seattle, where he would be frustrated. You can see it right there. I think that's the buildup of a number of weeks. This offense has been struggling.
All right, I want everyone to notice the body language of DeAndre Hopkins is very evident and very clear. His posture is not towards the coach; it's towards the player, and where it should be. He is a veteran player.
Right.
You don't come at the coach like that. That was just absolutely disrespectful. But again, disrespect has been happening in this league for quite some time with Odell Beckham, with Antonio Brown. Even though I understood their gripes, AJ, I understood it.
You understand Antonio Brown's gripes? But go ahead.
I mean, in my opinion, why wasn't Antonio Brown getting the ball more? That was my question.
Oh man.
You argued to have him there. He's there. Give him the ball. You know what he can do with it. Tom Brady's worked with him in New England. So why wasn't he getting the ball more?
He played one game in New England.
That's true.
One game.
He had a monster game that game, though. He had a good game.
Oh my gosh. No, I can't believe I never heard somebody try to justify Antonio Brown before.
I actually liked him when he was a Steeler. That's why. Yeah. I don't know what happened after that. Once he had that argument with Tomlin, he kind of became unhinged. But other than that,
before that,
I never saw it.
I mean, when someone is celebrating and getting released out of a contract to not have another one, to go to some place to get one, to act a fool, he was unhinged.
Mama, I'm free. I'm free.
That part, AJ. That part, AJ. That part, AJ.
Mama, I'm free, Mama.
Come on now. He was unhinged.
All right, so
go ahead.
Let's get this game in here because we have a Niners fan in here, and she's gonna have to wear this right here.
44-23.
You act as though I've never had to wear this bullshit before. Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last, unfortunately.
One thing the reason why I don't see a problem, I think the Niners are going to turn it around here. Jimmy G is doing what he has to do on his end. 303 yards, 2 touchdowns. The interception, not a big deal. Wasn't a pick six. All right. But again, he's up against this juggernaut Chiefs team that was hungry for a win here. So
yeah,
is what it is.
But yeah, we're not actually playing like a team either. We're not gelling. There's something that's off. I'm not quite sure what it is, but something is not connecting. And it's creating this shit show of what's running around on the field right now. It's all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason, and you're never gonna win playing like they're playing currently. That's just the hard facts. So
could it just be like a re-gelling? Sometimes things got to set again.
I don't know that it is a re-gelling. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's the players. I mean, when I look at the team, I don't really feel like they care if they win or lose. I just don't. I feel like we're here. Something is off. So somewhere somebody's not happy. I don't know if it's Jimmy G not being the starter, and now he's probably like, screw you. You think I'm going to come out here and be Captain Save-A-Ho? Try again. I don't know. Wow. I mean, I don't know, but I do feel like something is off. I mean, that's just what it is.
Macho, by chance, do you have the NFC West graphic of where?
Oh wow!
Do you have that?
Where the entire NFC West? You want that?
This Negro here.
We can get it all. We can pull it up. You want the standings?
Yes, he wants the standings, so he can see this raggedy ass team is the top.
Right there. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at that beauty. 4-3. Look at that.
It's 4-3. The teams that are shittier are 3-3 and 3-4. So what does that say?
Oh,
nothing.
I mean, again, number one is number one. Don't matter.
Okay.
It's number
Okay.
one.
Well, I will say this.
And
I'm
we
not going
started
to take
out number
this.
one, and we got back to number one. So boom.
You're right. And I'm not going to take away the Seahawks looked great on Sunday.
They looked outstanding. And by the
They
way,
know we
Keisha,
trust.
and by the way, Keisha, you were right. That uniform that the Chargers are wearing, outstanding.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like their
I
color rush.
loved it.
If
I
that's
loved
their
it.
color rush, if that was their color rush, they need to wear that like in the Super Bowl or something if they ever get
Yeah,
it.
that's nice. I like that. But
That
yes,
is a
the
nice
Seahawks
uniform.
looked great on Sunday. I cannot, as much as I cannot stand them, they played well.
I can't say I can't stand the Seahawks. There's
I
only
can't
one
stand them.
player on
I
the
can say that.
Seahawks I
I
can't
can't
stand,
stand them. No,
and
I can't
that's
stand them.
Geno Cheesesteaks.
I can't stand the
Smith.
whole team.
Well,
I
look,
can't stand the water boy.
it's not his fault. He has a better coach. It's he has better chemistry with this coach, or whatever's clear. Like it's
And you know what?
That's apparent. That's apparent.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 37, and he had 210 yards.
Well, he didn't need to throw much when you got this guy, Mr. Walker, 23 carries for 168 yards.
Okay,
That
but
man
that's what I'm
ran,
saying.
when he ran for that touchdown, he ran 22 miles per hour. I just want to point that out.
Okay. Thanks.
Wow.
Here.
Carry on.
Wow.
Carry on.
We are carrying on. We are. But thank you, Mr. Rant Room. Thank you.
Well, Jeffrey in the chat, Jeffrey Nunez, shout out to Jeffrey. I know him for a long time. Jeffrey is saying that your Seahawks are about to take an L against these Giants.
Oh, please. You're about to whoop that ass.
Now, it's going to be a tight game. Let me tell you why. Because what I've noticed about the Giants does not have a good man-to-man coverage. They don't. So
They don't have a wide. You don't have a wide receiver. Like you.
No. Offense.
If Saquon goes down, there is no more game. Period.
You are 100% right. Offense is shit. But the reason why the Giants stay in games is because of their coverage defense.
Yeah.
They do not have man-to-man defense. They don't have a shutdown defense. And if you look at the game, we're going to talk more about it. The game against Jacksonville. I mean, it could have went either way.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to say this, though. If this Seahawks team that played Sunday shows up against the Giants, they about to hurt some feelings.
Yes. Especially if the Giants can't do anything about that run game. For sure.
Yes. If they show up against the Giants, good luck to New York. Because the Seahawks are on fire right now. And the scary part right now about the Seahawks is they're improving each week. It's getting better and better and better. That's what's scary.
Well, the thing is that their defense still has to prove it. Their defense still has to prove
it. Listen. That Seahawk team is getting better every week.
Yeah,
as much as I cannot stand them.
Stop it, AJ. Stop it.
Stop it. You're too kind. Keep telling me.
This Negro here.
All right, so there's a post game because of how that Jacksonville game, because of how that Jacksonville Giants game ended. It went down to the last play. Lawrence literally hit the receiver, almost went into the end zone, but could not make it. And it was the end of the game at that point because they elected not to go out of bounds, but stood in bounds, and the clock played out. But here's what Trevor had to say at the post game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
what is that?
It sucks to lose, like you said, in general. But and that's the way this league is. Most games come down to the very end. So that's how it is, and you got to find, like we've been saying, you got to find ways to win and just find.
Is that John Smith?
Ways to make those plays that decide the game. Those plays are scattered throughout the game, but no matter what happened in the prior 3 quarters and whatever minutes of that fourth quarter, at the very end, how can we find ways to make those plays to win the game? And we're just not making enough of those plays right now. I mean, we're that close, and that's what's frustrating.
So yes, he's saying we're that close. This game starts and ends with this guy. If you guys notice anything about the Giants game, how many times he overthrew a wide open receiver was incredible. I'm like, I thought this guy was accurate. I thought he was like on the ball. I thought he can zip it in and throw it in a 2-man coverage in between them.
Right.
He overthrows receivers. He overthrew them a lot.
I feel like he can't handle the pressure. Like I feel like when the pressure is really on him, like where he like is expected to deliver, where things are not like flowing like effortlessly, you know, like where he's having to work for it, he's just not with it. I mean, and that's his one job, and his ass can't even get that right. And
And
you
by
know,
pressure, you mean by the limelight pressure or just by pressure by
all
the
of
defense?
it, like just in general, like he is the superstar, right? Like he's supposed to be these great things, and it's like he's just not, exactly.
I agree.
He's
I
just
agree.
not doing it. And at the end of the day, come on, like the facts and everything speak for themselves. I'm tired of seeing these people stand at the podium and tell the bullshit. Just get up there and be like, look, I was feeling nauseous. My stomach started bubbling because I couldn't handle it. And I just couldn't connect. Like it
Oh
was
my
just
Lord.
not my day. Like just tell the truth. Like just be honest with it. Like I would respect that. You know, it's tough in these times, you know. You're supposed to games are come down to the wire, and you're just this
They
is how
have to
things are
give the
won or lost.
arbitrary response. They can't let in on the secrets. What do you
Oh,
want them to be? Yo, we was shit out there. What happened was
yes.
Tom Brady sucks.
Yes.
And this guy
Yes.
sucks. Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers sucks. You
Yes.
want all that?
You know what I want to be like? I want to be like, you know what? If it wasn't for Murray back here, you know, he was fighting with his wife and, you know, he was all off. And then we had our stupid ass trainer who thought it would be cute to use the cheap tape when she knows damn well that we have hairy legs. I mean, yeah, just tell us the truth.
This is why you can't have women in the locker room, folks.
Just
You
tell
can't
us
have
the
women in the
truth.
locker room for this.
Like, tell us the truth. Like,
Nope. Nope.
tell us the
Can
truth.
you imagine? Can you imagine if Villanueva was honest about what was going on in the locker room? AJ?
Oh my
No.
God. Woo, baby.
No. Absolutely not.
I want a grown man to stand up and be like,
locker room is
go ahead,
sacred.
AJ.
No, I'm just saying the locker room is sacred. Yeah.
Oh, I want the grown man to stand up and be like, our coach thought he could talk to grown ass men crazy. See how that worked out. He forgot he was talking to men, and you see how that worked out. That's what I want. I want that type of honesty. He tried to
All right.
motherfuck us, and look what he got.
I want to also bring up the Bengals Falcons. The Bengals are not surprisingly, AJ was right about this.
Yes,
They
he
usually
was.
get off to terrible starts, and they're slowly clawing their way back. They're 4-3, and Joe Burrow had a pretty darn good game yesterday.
Okay, we need to slow down on the accolades that we're giving AJ this morning.
Why the hate? Why the hate though? Why the hate?
He was right. He was right.
Okay, but we need to slow down because you see his head is almost swole outside of the entire box. He almost doesn't fit into the screen anymore.
You put him on the pedestal because the higher they go up, the long distance it is for them to fall. Gotti.
Did you get the video I sent you of the goal line stand?
Oh my God.
You sent me that video.
Yes, to share with everybody.
Oh, I did not get it. Terrible.
Where'd you send it at, AJ?
Instagram.
Oh, you sent it on Instagram. All right, let's pull it. Let's pull it right now. We're right here.
Let's see it.
It was beautiful.
Was it beautiful, AJ? How beautiful was it, AJ?
Homeboy thought he was in. He was like, denied.
Ooh, I see it. Ooh, let's share that. Let's share that. Oh. This is, by the way, folks, this is on the Mornin Fix Instagram page. Be sure to follow that page. Let's check this out right here. Let's see.
Throw near side pitch, caught it, but was he in?
Wow.
They're going to say no. Chidobe. Mariota, quick throw near side pitch, caught it, but was he in?
There's no way that man was in. He was stopped. It was a dead wall. What was the call on that?
He didn't score. But
oh, no, it was a score? The ball crossed?
No. He was denied. Okay. Yeah, no.
Wow, what a first off, that's textbook tackling.
They're going to say no. Chidobe. Mariota, quick throw near side pitch, caught it, but was he in?
That's textbook. When they go high, you go low. That's how you're supposed to tackle. I see too many of these DBs going up with the receiver. Why are you going up with the receiver? There was a DB yesterday that went up with the receiver, ended up getting a concussion.
That sounds about right.
Why are you going up? Because they're taught to deny the catch. They're taught, hey, don't let him.
That's
But
the
if you
new no. That's the new age football.
Yes, as they make way for women to play.
Yes, that right there. That right there, which we just saw right now.
Yeah.
That was real football.
How much you want to put
read
on it?
that play. Yeah. Shut up, AJ. He read that.
He said, "You're not welcome here."
Not in my house.
Well, we shouldn't be there, but I mean that's neither here nor there.
Again, this is a typical Mariota game. It's been this way since he's been in the league. Very subpar. Doesn't really throw for that many yards.
It's so embarrassing. That he should be fired on spot. I think I could throw more yards than that. I don't even know.
Mariota has been this way since he's been a Titan.
Jeez.
He's just not a good quarterback. He's probably a long-term Orlovsky, where he went to all those teams, was a backup, and nobody ever knew of him until he got onto the show. Get Up with Mike Green and ESPN.
They did the birthday tribute to him the other day. They like bad takes.
Oh my god!
As much as I love you and you guys' beautiful faces,
good thing you didn't run. Good thing you didn't run when we ragged on you for a little bit.
Listen, the one thing that I can't handle is a defeat in football. As much as it pains me, I can't stand it. The beautiful thing about this sport is that you don't know what's going to happen on any given Sunday. And I will give credit where credit is due. I do like to watch good football. I mean, we're seeing so little of it now that I get excited, and I do see some great games.
It's not true. It's not true.
No, we are. We are. We're seeing
good
so little.
football.
No. We're seeing so little of it that, like, when I see like a great game, it's like, yes.
No.
Like, I look at this team. They're playing as a team. What a concept.
You have two teams in New York, doesn't have one superstar, and they have winning records.
What?
Well, Saquon, yes. But
okay, hold on.
For the most part.
Pause. I said good football. I didn't say winning.
They're playing good football. They're playing good football.
No, they're not playing good football. They're just getting lucky and winning. I don't even understand how, like, you took a win as good football. If you play if one shitty team plays another shitty team, then one shitty team is going to get lucky.
I'm sorry, the Jets didn't play a shitty team yesterday. Yes, they did.
Yes, they did, AJ.
That's called luck. That's called luck.
And I'm not Broncos, but they were without Russ. But whatever. That's another subject.
All right, Keisha. It's been a pleasure.
No, but so I don't do that, Macho. Like, don't try to make your Giants seem like there's something to be reckoned with.
Not a Giants fan, by the way.
Or, oh yeah, that's right. You're a Jets fan. My bad. Same concept. They're not a team to be reckoned with. So just stop playing with your own emotions. Now, AJ Seahawks, that's a different conversation. And if you would like to have that conversation about real football teams, we can.
Here we go.
We can. Okay. See the difference between Seahawks? See how we have to give them the credit that they're improving each week?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just because I don't have a penis doesn't mean I can't get down with the best of them. Have a great Monday, everyone.
Salute. Take care.
Peace.
All right. So I have another post game because surprisingly, should we say it surprisingly at this point, where the Buccaneers has suffered a defeat to a terrible football team in the Carolina Panthers. I mean, I just don't know what's going on. Like, Mike Evans is dropping wide open passes.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Tom Brady is looking terrible as always. As always, he's looking terrible. He's looking real bad. Here's a bit of him in the post game here.
For a team to dig out of something like this when it's been, not the results you would have liked, what kind of characteristics does a team have to be able to rebound from like the last couple of weeks?
You have to play as a team. You have to take accountability. You have to work hard. You have to have discipline, commitment, mental and physical toughness. Those are all character traits. And we have a lot of great guys in the locker room. So We're going to go in tomorrow morning. We've got a short week. We've got to work hard to try to fix it.
Are those guys showing you that?
So we have to play. Oh, wait, hold on. That follow-up. Hold on.
Do they still need to show you that?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that, I depend on and have done a great job. So, we're
Okay, he didn't answer it. I thought I was about to say, ooh, I like that follow-up. But we have to play as a team to be able to climb ourselves out of this. You buying this, AJ?
No, that man's checked out.
He's done.
You can literally tell when someone, it's not that he's a bad player. He's just checked out. And I believe Aaron Rodgers is checked out and Russell Wilson is checked out. So all three of them are like, fuck this, I'm good.
And how do you determine what checked out is as an athlete? They're still putting up decent numbers, but what do you think?
You can tell how they approach the game. Like when they're all in, you can tell that they've prepared, especially Tom Brady. He is prepared King 101. Like he will literally watch hours and hours and hours and hours of tape just for no reason, just to do it. And you can tell he is not prepared. He's being very, he's lashing out at the wrong people. He should be lashing out at himself. And I'm like, bro, you weren't prepared. You went out, had a whole week, socializing with celebrities, going to Robert Kraft's wedding, and then you show up to this game and you're yelling at your O-line? No, you should be yelling at yourself, dude. You were not prepared. This is not the Tom Brady we know. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Yeah, we just got to do better. We just got to do better. And like, no, bro, you are not. Y'all are checked. Y'all took the money and y'all checked out. And the sad part is you can't just walk away because they gave you King's ransom. So now that you got a King's ransom, you can't just say, yeah, well, I'm out. It's like it's sad to watch, but at the same time, you're millionaires. I'm not. I don't care.
Right. And there's no sympathy here for them.
Right. Yep. Exactly. It's not like you're getting paid $45,000 a year, and you got to go out there and put your body on the line every week. No, you're millionaires many times over. I don't care. But
I'm kind of frustrated because one, I liked Todd Bowles, and I say liked. It's not that he's no longer with us. He is with us. He's just he's not the Jets head coach.
Right.
Time and time again, he is put in spots where he's not able to excel. Bruce Arian had the team to excel. Todd Bowles comes in now. He's the head coach, and now he's dealing with a mess. He's dealing with a quarterback that's he's checked out. He's dealing with home issues. You got some other players. Leonard Fournette is not living up to the expectations that we thought he was going to live up to. Mike Evans is dropping wide open passes. I mean, this team is in complete disarray. And I don't know if Todd Bowles needs to light a match under this team and really dig in because we all know he's no nonsense.
Well, that's what Todd said last week, though. But go ahead, real quick.
Well, here's what he got after the game, what he said.
As a result, we have to wear this on our sleeves. They got to be grown men. We're going to see what we're made of, how many people can handle adversity. And this is about as dark as it's going to be right now. And those guys who are going to step up are going to show up this week in practice. Our leaders are going to lead. Our coaches are going to coach. And we're just going to dig and keep our head down. It's a pride football game. It's a prideful football game.
All right. I like this response. I really do. I've always liked Todd Bowles' post conferences. I like how he gets sometimes he gets really chippy, especially with the press. My question is, AJ, to you, is it time for Todd Bowles to grandstand and bench Tom Brady to wake his ass up?
Oh, it's time for him to take a stand. Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing: you walk that fine line between this is a superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, whatever the fuck you want to call him. You walk that fine line as a coach. I'm sure he's like, oh, well, it's Tom Brady. How do I bench Tom Brady? Easy. You bench him. That's it. Because if you're not performing, look, 2 years ago, y'all were Super Bowl winning team. What the hell are we talking about here? It's not like y'all you came in and y'all been fucking up since Brady got here. No, you balled out the first year. The second year was okay. You lost Antonio Brown. People got injured, but you did do a deep enough playoff run for it to be comparable. And then you came back, and this is what you're doing? Like, bro, you should have just stayed with your family. What are you here for? So, yeah, he needs to make some he needs to draw the line in the sand and be very, very clear. Not just with Tom Brady, with everybody. Because people who are on that Super Bowl team, these motherfuckers are comfortable now. And they're just, just like, yeah, well, I'm, such and such. And I have such and such endorsements. I'm making such and such money. And it's like, bro, that's cool. But the point is, when all 32 teams start every year, the goal is to get to the Super Bowl. Not to mess up. And then you brought your ass back. No, you said goodbye, Brady. You said peace. You called it a career and came back a few years later. So I'm thinking, okay, if you're coming back, you got more to do. And if this is the more to do, bro, you could have kept that. You could have kept it.
Facts. And for me, in this, the way I analyze, I agree with you. The way to get to this guy's head, if you guys don't remember, Bill Belichick knew how to get under Tom Brady's skin. A lot of people didn't see this, but I, as a person who used to be a part of this team, a part of the game, so to speak, is I notice and pick up on certain decisions that are made and certain body languages. Bill Belichick was not in this. I have to have this reverence for Tom Brady. No, if you're not producing, I'm going to sit your ass down or I'm going to move on. Clearly is what he's done. I'm moving on. I'm not going to have this reverence for you and then go, oh, you're having a bad week or you're having a bad couple of games. I want guys who's going to produce, or I'd rather lose with guys who are nobodies. I don't care.
Facts.
Bill Belichick has shown his hand. And so in order to get through to him, you're going to have to do what McDaniels did. You have to drill into his ear. Hey, if you're not producing, we're going to ship you. We're done. Like, what are we doing here? And I think as a professional, AJ, I think it's going to wake his ass up. You're here. You're going through what you're going through. That can't change, but you're here. Live in the moment, live present. If not, leave.
There is an administrative assistant right now going through a horrible divorce, and they have to show their ass up to work every day and be on it. And you can't take a day off, and you can't make an excuse because nobody gives a fuck because you're an administrative assistant. You are Tom Brady. You have millions of dollars. You have the world at your fingertips. You have access to every possible thing. I'm not crying for you, Argentina. Yes, it sucks when a family breaks up. No one's saying that's good. But the point is, if he was the average Joe, we'd be like, well, suck it up. Well, suck it up. And we don't care. And average Joe don't have access to therapists and all these weird things that people use when they're in a certain tax bracket. So I'm not Tom Brady. Bro, show the hell up or get the fuck away. I'm sure your backup is waiting. Let's go. No time for this.
And that's where I think
you lost to the Panthers. And not only did you lose to the Panthers, you got mollywopped by the Panthers. It wasn't just like, oh, it was down to a field goal. No, you didn't score one motherfucking touchdown in that game. And the 3 points you got came in the second fucking half of the game. What the hell happened? We got to talk. No. Coach, this ain't working.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. No. And some's got to give here because I understand that Todd Bowles is treading that line, but I don't want to hear, we're going to see. There needs to be even questions from the press. Hey, Todd, what are you going to do about this question mark in Tom Brady? And don't be afraid to answer that question. So let me see how he continues with this answer here.
And that's really all you come into the world when you start playing this game is either you can or you can't. We're going to see what we have going forward. See how many people crumble when it's dark, and see how many people step up and start playing better.
Oh, I
and
like
start
that.
coaching better.
I like that.
How demoralizing.
Because that's the true
test.
Why
do you like? It's a true test. What do you mean?
That's a true test. When the shit is rough, when I'm making these firm decisions, are you a team player or are you a diva? That's what I got. That's all I got for you. Because if it's really about the team, you can put. Yes, you're going through a divorce. Your life is messy right now. Again, many people have messy personal lives and show up to work and you don't even know. So the point is about the choices you make. So if your personal life is that fucked up, step down or get out of the way. Say, let my backup play, do something, but don't continue to get out there and fuck up for the whole team. That's it.
Very.
And then the audacity, because them O-line men were better than me, because I would have been like, you don't get the fuck out my face. Literally, if he came up to me yelling, oh, hell no. If you don't get your fucking ass out of my face, you overpaid fucking spoiled bitch. You weren't in practice all week. What the fuck are you?
Well, the thing is, AJ, there's no Jeff Saturday on that O-line. Let's just put it like that. Jeff Saturday was just as much as a Hall of Famer as Peyton Manning, and he ain't gonna take you yelling at him. Excuse me. This is my guys. You go over there, you worry about other shit. This right here, you ain't yelling at my guys like that. And Jeff Saturday did not play that shit. If you guys ever remember that argument they had on the sideline, which I loved it because again, it all goes back to what you said, AJ. Peyton Manning didn't check out. Jeff Saturday didn't check out because they're in each other's space. They're willing to go to the trenches. Well, we need to clean this shit up. We're going to do this right. And they were a great combination. Obviously, that O-line and Peyton Manning went on to win a lot of games. Unfortunately, they didn't win a lot of Super Bowls, but they did win a lot of games together.
And you bitching about being sacked twice. Shut up. Get the fuck out of my face.
Here's another game that, again, the question remains, as it was last week, should the Packers press the panic button? And in my opinion, yes, they do when you're losing to a team like the Commanders. It is absolutely apparent that the Green Bay Packers are in a whirlwind. Something's not right.
Yeah, you don't have Devontae. You don't have your go-to guy. Rodgers took all that money. Again, people taking all this money and then can't perform. That's just another thing. Or they don't want to. Or I don't, Rodgers has always been like that. Like, he probably should have went to the Broncos, but he wanted to end his career here. Fine. But don't take so much money that you push out your number one wide receiver, and now your team looks like shit, and it's all on you, bro, because you got the lion's share of the money here. So what's up? I'm not crying for you, Argentina. This is not a team like the Panthers. At least this was a close game. But no, we should not be losing to shitty teams like this. No.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope. Not at all. Especially when the Commanders have shown time and time again that they're not a good football team. Period. The end. I don't care if they've won 3 games.
Exactly.
That should be another loss and a loss. It should be 2-5, not 3-4. Sorry.
Exactly.
And they're a professional team nonetheless. So you're not going to expect a shitty team to just lay down on you. They're going to play. That's what they're paid to do. But Aaron Rodgers, yes, we're pressing the panic button. And yes, and my question to you, AJ, is does players need to take should they take a page out of the book and say, hey, maybe I need to bring my expectations down to provide for more players to come in the future?
No, you need to show up and stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Stop being a you get like Russell Wilson. Y'all are getting paid way too much money to be fucking up like this. So no, I have very little empathy and sympathy for these people. Like, I'm good. Here's the thing. You took the money, perform. That's what you were paid to do. You were overpaid to do this. Now, I'm not saying you have to get to a Super Bowl, but you should not be 3-4 at this point, and you should not be losing to a shitty team like this, period.
I agree.
And then you have a coach that's probably scared to say something to you because you're Aaron Rodgers. You're an icon. You're a legend. We can't really yell the fuck you. You're a man just like everybody else. Fuck out of here. Right. You are part of it. Right. It's a team. It's a team sport. Stop shooting these damn quarterbacks, usually the quarterback, like they're playing tennis. This is a team effort.
We covered the Giants Jaguars. I was surprised at the end there of what happened. Not surprised so much as the Jets and Broncos game, honestly. But here's where I was really intrigued, and it was the Cleveland Browns versus the Ravens, because we've been saying it all year that Lamar Jackson is just not it. He just doesn't have what it takes. And look at this, the despicable game. This is a despicable game. 120 yards. 120 yards. Look, I get it. The Browns have a pretty decent defense than their record shows. They do. But gee, what is going on here?
This is Lamar trying to get more money. This is not about the team at this point. It's about Lamar Jackson. So it's about him denying the contract that was offered so he can get more money next season.
Sure, good luck.
And if the Ravens don't see at this point that you may not be the future because you can't even do a deep playoff run. And like I keep saying, regular season, we do this every year for the last 5 seasons. Oh, he's electrifying. He's amazing. Oh, my God. Look at Lamar Jackson. He's oh, my God. Blah, blah. And they tried it yesterday. Even though he had a terrible performance, they still tried to pull like 1 or 2 clips and made it seem like this man balled out. No, you are not worth the money you're asking for. And I'm tired.
Nowhere near.
I do not understand. And this is the problem when you pay middle of the pack quarterbacks like Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott. So now that they've gotten their money, he's like, well, I'm better than those guys. I should be getting more money. So give me even more than they got, even though they got overpaid to do nothing. Because these teams, even if the Cowboys get to a Super Bowl, it will not be because of Dak. And we know that. But anyway.
It's going to take a collective effort. It can't just come from Dak. I'll tell you that much.
This should have never happened. This came down to a field goal. No. You're Lamar Jackson.
And the fact that, look, Brissett outplayed Lamar. If you're arguing for a higher contract, you have to outplay your opponents. Like, seriously.
He's a backup.
Brissett is a glorified backup. 100%. Right. Like, it's crazy that they still continue to try to sell this narrative to us that we ain't buying. Clearly, we're not buying.
Lamar Jackson, electric. He's the best thing ever. I'd be like, did we watch the same game?
We did. We did. Trust me, we did.
A couple of moments, but like sitting here acting like this man balled from 0 to 0. No, don't play me like that.
Facts. Don't play me. Let's get to some predictions because I do want to cover slightly just a snippet of some basketball because I'm excited to see that the Lakers are having some serious issues. But before we do that, let's get some predictions for tonight's game. The Bears versus the Patriots. It seems like this is not going to be a, clear-cut game. So we have to pick between the two bad teams here. Who are you picking? Are you watching for that matter?
Are you watching football? No, I give the games the first half. If you fuck up, if I'm bored by halftime, I will not be back. But I don't really give a damn. But if I had to pick, I'm going with the Bears.
You going with the Bears? Yeah, I can't go with the Bears because they're just a terrible football team.
I can't go with the Patriots because I can't.
I don't like the Patriots. I hate them, but I think they're going to win tonight's game, despite the fact that they are having an enormous amount of injuries. They're injury plagued right now. But yet, Bill Belichick's, as good as a coach he is, still figures out a way to win or keep these games close, which is incredible. Before I forgot about the game last night. I forgot how good that game was. I'm sorry about that.
How you going to skip the Steelers Dolphins?
I forgot that one. My bad. That was a really good game. I do want to say, however, I'm sold on Pickett, which is probably why Tubbs started. I was asking the question, why didn't Pickett start the season? Why'd you give it to Tubbs? Well, that's because Pickett throws 3 interceptions.
Here's the thing. That was his first 2-minute drill. That was the first one. So it's not like he was a seasoned player and he went out there and messed up. Like, I think considering the fact that they got that far down the field, and that's the last drive, they got that far down the field, and he threw the interception at the end. Fine, okay, whatever. I think for a person who's as inexperienced, and you could tell he was being coached well, and they were telling him to calm down and relax and just, whatever. Yes, it's high stakes, but just manage the game. All things considered, I don't think he was like bad. Like, it's not like we're talking about, again, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. We're not talking about that caliber player.
Facts. Facts.
So considering all of that, they tried, they did their best, but they just couldn't pull it off. And it wasn't like it was a blowout. Tomlin did keep the game close, and he was yelling like hell into that headset. I would hate to work for that man.
Folks, if you're just tuning into the Morning Fix, we are here in the Sports Hour. We're just about to conclude Sports Hour here in the Morning Fix. We're going to get back to some news commentary and news coverage. But right now, we're just talking about last night's game in Pittsburgh and Miami. Thank you for watching and tuning in. But yeah, I think that it was good to see Tua back. It was good to see him back functional and healthy. And thank goodness, nothing really serious happened. And he came back at a good game. I'm really good. The one big thing, the question mark for me about the Dolphins going down the line, can their defense hold up? Their defense did pretty good. Can their defense hold up down the stretch against really big teams? What do you think, AJ?
It's one of those, you never know. They have it. It's just a matter of everyone staying healthy and how strong we're going to work as a team. And I think they can do it. I think they think they have the right coach. They have the right quarterback. They were right when they chose Tua over Brian Flores. Again, It's another coach quarterback controversy that went the right way, like Seattle. So I think they have the right combination. They probably need a couple more pieces on defense, but I think they have a strong enough team to do at least. May not get to the championship, but they'll at least they're definitely a wild card team at least.
I agree, and they're probably just gonna have to tighten that area. And again, there's no panic. They can turn it around, become a really strong defense. They show glimpses of it in the first few games that they had. I believe they have it. I know the offense is there. The offense is clearly there. It's just the defense to be able to pick it up. I mean, 3 interceptions shows to me that the defense is there. But the problem is probably that the offense didn't probably kick it into full gear yesterday. But considering the Pittsburgh Steelers still do have a decent defense in front of them, despite the fact that the other Watt brother, forgot his TJ Watt. TJ Watt, I get these names confused all the time, is not there. Because when he is there, I'm telling you, he is a force to be reckoned with. He makes that team a lot better. So we got our picks in. I do want to talk smack about the Lakers because it has something to do with LeBron. So first, they are now listed. They had a terrible start to the season so far. They can't hit a basket. Go figure. When you have a guy like Russell Westbrook who can't really shoot the basketball.
The Russells.
Here is a bit of LeBron James in the post game last night. Here we go.
With Nurkic for a lot of the time, just wondered offensively what you're looking for as those minutes go down and how you felt like.
Love that color sweater, by the way. Wow, I would
love to rock that.
that.
What the hell is that rose on the side of his head, though? But go ahead.
You know that's the style of how they wear the do-rag. Come on now.
I feel like we're just getting some of the same shots that we were getting. Obviously, just didn't make them. Obviously, Russ, when he comes back in, at that moment, they're able to switch their defense a little bit, putting the 5 on him. So, but he got some good looks, unable to knock him down. And defensively, we couldn't get multiple stops in a row. We would get a couple, but we couldn't get multiple stops in a row. Dame was Dame down the stretch, and they got a good win.
LeBron.
By the way, I want to remind everybody that the Lakers are off to a 0-3 start, and they're the worst shooting team in the NBA already. They were ragging. Look, I get it. Look, it's early. They can turn it around. It's LeBron James. They're going to turn it around. But this is a terrible start. Terrible start, right? So there's more to this. Hold on.
Marvin mentioned the shot selection down the stretch over the last couple of minutes. What did you think of the looks that you guys got? And then,
I mean, shot selection is always a part of the game, no matter if it's the last couple minutes of the game or the first few minutes of the game. You want to play the right way, always, no matter what the time of the score is. And
I will say this, though, as much as I don't like this guy, I really don't. But if you're not producing, you're not going to play, period. Whether you're Russell Westbrook, whether you're Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. His friendship owns no boundaries.
But he got benched.
Russell, he got benched,
Like, this is what football coaches need to start doing. You start
but this is
superstars.
That's exactly what LeBron James is all about. He's like, yo, you ain't producing, get out of here. Like, you ain't gonna make me look bad out here. It's all about LeBron. We all know that. So
always be understanding of what's the best shot you can get throughout the course of a possession.
LeBron, basketball philosophy-wise, if you're the team with the lead in the final minute, do you support going for the 2-for-1, or can you be, because you already have the lead, be more?
I hate the fact that they're so scared to ask him questions.
Oh my God, they
get so scared of him.
They want to hurt your feelings. Oh God, just ask the man the damn question.
Just antagonize him. Have him lash out. I want to see him lash out.
Take your time with the possession.
I don't know. I feel like this is an interview of trying to set me up to say something.
Oh my God!
I can tell that you guys.
Black Lives Matter.
I don't like to lose. I hate to lose at any. I don't care what happens throughout the course of my season, throughout the course of my career.
What are they trying to set you up to brother? Your team is 0-3. You're the leader. You're the face of the NBA. What are they trying to set you up? Speak up. That's all. What are they setting you up for? Like these softball questions and you feel intimidated by it? Are you serious? These are the softest questions. Tom Brady's getting harder questions than
Oh my gosh.
For goodness sakes. Holy smokes.
I hate to lose, and especially, the way we had this game. But give credit to Portland. You guys can write about Russ and all the things you guys want to try to talk about Russ, but I'm not up here to do that. I won't do it. I've said it over and over. That is not it's not who I am, so.
You're talking about Russ. Yeah, they can bring it up, but you just talked about him. So I hate when people say I'm not going to talk about somebody while talking about them. I hate that. Like he's throwing shade. He always does this. You don't have to talk about it. Let them ask. But to go ahead and say it, well, I'm not going to talk about Russ. Why? They didn't ask you about that just now. Did they ask you about it just now? Or you can say what you want in the papers about Russ. What are we gonna say about Russ? That's what if I was in that room, I would Jason Whitlock that motherfucker. I'd be like, what are we gonna say about Russ? What do you think? Oh, I'm not gonna go there. No, I just want to know. You brought it up. No one asked you about it, so I want to know. Are you antagonist? Oh, I feel like you're. And I will question the mess out of him until he gets up, drops the mic, and leaves. Because he's a coward like that. That's just how he is.
Last day in the press box too.
I would be. I'll be. Yo, LeBron, LBJ would be like, yeah, that guy. Get him out of here.
Nope.
He's out.
I'm taking no more questions from him ever.
Well, here's the head coach following that loss. Here's how fake optimistic he's trying to be. Here's that coverage right now. Let me put that in there.
Darvin Ham is speaking with Mike Trudell in the media.
Hey, Darvin, with about 4:20 left or so, LeBron hits the and one, you're up by 8. At that point, put Russ back in. It seemed like they were defending with Nurkic some.
Yeah.
Just wondered what you saw down the stretch and on both ends of the court.
I mean, just wanting another athletic perimeter defender out there just in case we wanted to go into our red pick and roll defense, switching everything. Obviously Dame got going as such a threat, any and everywhere on the floor. But that was the plan. And
I really don't understand the whole notion, AJ, of why they continue to give Russell Westbrook a shot. They should have known and learned their lesson the minute a perennial superstar in the league chose not to play with him. Come on, we have a guy who went and went to the Golden State Warriors instead of playing and trying to get the championship with Russell Westbrook.
Welcome to politics and sports.
He's clearly telling you guys you can't win with this guy. That's what he's saying. You can't win with him. No matter who you put around him, no matter if you give him the ball 90% of the time, you can't win with him. That's what he's telling you. Don't go by what they say, go by their actions. I'm not willing to play with this guy. I can't. I'd rather play with Steph Curry. I'd rather even go all the way to play with the emotionally unstable sometimes Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant is outstanding of a player. He's a great player, and he's about the business of playing the game. He's not about the business of coddling into friendships.
Right.
He will burn a friendship faster than you. It so happened that even what's the guy's name that punched Jordan Poole? What's his name again? Draymond Green. Draymond Green, apologized. This is, after a while, apologized because he feels like he's the reason why Kevin Durant left. And some would probably argue and say, yeah, because one, you dogged him out in public. You were in his space. Y'all got into an argument. He probably couldn't take your temperament on and off the basketball court. But I'm sure they're still friends. I'm sure they still talk to each other. But at the end of the day, you're not going to talk to a guy like Kevin Durant like that. I don't think Kevin Durant gets the LBJ respect, and he should. Do you think that he should get the LBJ respect, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. But still, again, this is a team sport. If you ain't pulling your weight on the team, get the fuck out of the way. I don't have time for this. Like, even if, and that's the hard part about doing business with friends, is that if you can't tell your friend to shut the hell up and get out the way, you fucking this up, then that's not the friend you need to be doing business with, period. Because I'm not going to let you sink this whole ship because of your ego and because everyone's walking on eggshells and don't want to piss you off. I'm gonna piss you off and then some.
And that's a value of that.
I'm that friend.
That's a real friend, in my opinion.
Right,
Exactly. You have to somebody to
Exactly.
shake you up. Hey, you're going through a tough time. Hey.
Exactly.
Right here. We're
That's
here.
right.
We're
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
All right, folks.
Hey.
Kill. Just know that AJ's the quarterback that's calling the kill once he sees what he sees. You know what I mean? So
kill.
Oma! All right, folks. That does it for this Monday's edition of Sports Hour. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back here in a moment to go back to news coverage. Thank you, AJ, for being here. We'll see you next week.
I can put you in Chanel, fly you out to Greece. Baby, come with me and you'll get everything you need. We can hit the strip club, throw some money on my ex, bitch. Never switch up, I ain't worried about the next, bitch. Skipping, I can tell, where you holding me. You get a little nervous when you flying overseas. Ice your wrist up, Master VV's on my necklace. Pull up in truck, we ain't even on the guest list. And other bitches jealous when you step into the party. She already cracked the ceiling, wanna fuck me up a card. Guess your ex just saw you posting, now he texting you, he sorry. Texting back and picking me and quoting you already lost. You know where that you been. You been getting to the bag, you been. Yeah, I know that off the liquor you be wildin'. Whisper in my ear, you telling me you wanna ride it. Baby, come and ride it. I see you wildin', I can put you on a flight, you know that I see you every night. Just you and me, I wanna fuck you. You already know I wanna fuck you. You already know. I know you see me looking at you. I can tell you love to dance and gotta ask you. It's all eyes in your direction when you pass through. Got the baddest written on you like a tattoo. Why they looking at you? Feel I need to find out about that body and I think I need it right now. You been working, think you need to take some time out. I got a place down in the city we can night out. Drop the top and ride out. And it might be crazy. All the other bitches here don't base me. I was having a bad night, you saved me. I can spend a couple checks like daily, flex like days. You been getting to the bag, you been. Yeah, I know that off the liquor you be wildin'. Whisper in my ear, you telling me you wanna ride it. Baby, come and ride it. I see you wildin', just you and me, I wanna fuck you. You already know, fuck you. You already
I've been going through the motions, learning how to pretend that everything is perfect. And I've been sinking in an ocean, drowning but I'm silent, yet everyone thinks I'm afloat. I'm going through changes, but I swear I'm the same. Could you show me some patience along the way? Everybody say I changed, even mama said the same. They don't know about the pain, Now I know about the shame. It ain't worth all this shit for the fame. Fuck everyone trying to put dirt on my name. I'ma end up like Kurt Cobain. I'ma end up.
Hello and good morning here on the Mornin Fix live radio show. For some places here on the East Coast, good afternoon. We are tuning back here on the morning edition of the Mornin Fix. It is October 24th, 2022. It is 12:05 Eastern time here, 58 degrees in New York City. Decrepit, disgusting, rainy, cold. I like the cold. Can we take away the rain? The cold in New York City takes away the smell of New York City. So I enjoy the cold here. I enjoy it because I get to just enjoy walking around, not having to worry about the smells and disgusting rats that are the size of my cat, my full adult grown cat. Anyways, we're back here. I'm your host, Macho. We're going to do more commentary, and we're going to run the last hour of this show just kind of talking about a whole plethora of things. We've covered today sleepy Joe Biden literally sleeping in an interview. Unreal. You can't make this stuff up, folks. The fact that your news interview person has to go up, has to wake him up, has to go, hey, what about this? Hey, up, we lost him, tells me something about something.
I have not made that formal decision, but it's my intention. My intention to run again. And we have time to make that decision.
That's beautiful.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh.
Dr. Biden thinks that, my wife thinks that
I mean, you can't be serious, folks. You have a president in the United States. You have a president in the White House that clearly is not mentally apt for this job. That's clearly all over the place. Forget about anything about when it comes to being fully qualified for the job. Yeah, he's got years, he's got experience, but he clearly doesn't have the mental gusto. Clearly he is deteriorating. Clearly is doing inappropriate things such as this.
The age I'm going to be. I can't even get it out of my mouth.
Clearly all over the place, folks. And we have to do something about it because the only way we can actually do something about it is if we vote him out of office, is if we take back the House, is if we take back the Senate. And I mean America First politicians, America First constituents, you, people who care about the kitchen table issues. As we have seen, Myra Flores, the 34th District of Texas, the representative, Republican, has discussed the kitchen table issues. And even saying things like, hey, just watch me, Joe. We are clearly watching you. We are clearly focused. Here on the Mornin Fix channel, I posted a video collage, because I was not allowed to post it on TikTok, believe it or not. I was not allowed to post this on TikTok. And you might ask why. Oh, because you're normalizing drug behavior. No, I'm not normalizing it. Neither are the leaders who are speaking up against it. No, we are exposing it because this needs to be dealt with, and there needs to be somebody who's going to speak on these issues. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll that video collage, and if you guys want to watch it for yourself, use it as reference. These are all the leaders who are actually speaking on actual things in America. They're speaking on the kitchen table topics. So check it out. We're dealing with a fentanyl crisis that is not manufactured by the government. It is ignored by the government party that is in office. The Democrats control the House. The Democrats control the Senate. The Democrats control the White House. But we're not going to ignore that. Not here, not on the Morning Fix. I want you guys to see this. I made this video yesterday and posted it on the Morning Fix channel.
Couple of trips down there to understand it is totally an invasion at our border, that the cartels have operational control of our border, and that they are funneling what I believe is a weapon of mass destruction, fentanyl. You've heard it. You know, the 5.5 tons they brought in 1 year's time is enough to kill every man, woman, and child in America 7 times over. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a weapon of mass destruction to me.
Just releasing a report saying overall overdose deaths increased by 30% in 2020.
And most people most people like Liz Cheney are going to call those people like Carrie Lake extremist. No, that's not extremism, because if you apply the logic equally, when they blamed the federal government for bringing crack and heroin to the black neighborhoods, no, you guys ignored it. Now you need to find somebody to blame. The Silent Majority, written by Michael Frontner, exposes the truth that there was not a single black person who ignored the crack epidemic. They knew exactly full on well. The NAACP knew exactly full on well. The bishops, the pastors, everyone knew. The homeowners knew. People who own brownstones were black. They all knew. They went to Governor Rockefeller. They said, hey, we want to deal with this. And I don't know if anybody knows when Governor Rockefeller was over New York City, who was the governor of New York City at the time, during the 70s. When did they want to argue about the crack and heroin epidemic? They wanted to argue about it in the early 90s, blaming it on the federal government. No. My lying eyes could see right through that nonsense. We're not going to buy that. So here we go. Let's keep going.
The past 3 weeks, and one of the biggest culprits, fentanyl. Some may think it only happens to other people, but you're going to be surprised to learn it also happens to people who are not drug addicts. Just moments ago, we spoke with a mother who shares her heartbreaking story so other parents won't have to endure the pain. Brianna Scott was 18 years old when she came into contact with fentanyl at a party. Her mom says that she was a fun-loving person who loved to sing.
I think people need to be aware that, your child doesn't have to be a drug user in order for this to, take their life. They can literally try it once. And from what I understand, my daughter didn't even consume an entire pill, and she's no longer here.
And I'll go as far as this, folks, is that you don't have to consume a pill at all. You don't have to even consume a fraction of it. I have spoken to a number of police officers who've had to issue and deploy Narcan, which they have to carry in Oklahoma, in certain areas of Arizona, most of the southern border states, where the fentanyl is coming from, that even if they smell it, inhale it, if they're going through a routine car check, a car sweep, officers have passed out because of the inhalation of fentanyl powder. And they have been passed out, and other officers have to deploy fentanyl and utilize it to be able to save that officer's life. Most of the deployment of Narcan are not only to people on Skid Row, but also to the very officers who are apprehending people who are trafficking this deadly, most very vicious synthetic drug. It's unbelievable. Democrats are just ignoring this. And they call it like lies, as you're going to see further in this clip, where you see the Herschel Walker and Warnock debate. Literally telling Walker that he's lying about the whole fentanyl crisis. Are you kidding me? That's how Democrats see this fentanyl crisis. They see it as another Republican fear-mongering talking point, and that just another example of extremist behavior. No, it's not. We're talking about the real kitchen table issues. Let's continue with that.
Soaring overdoses from prescription pain meds, then heroin. Now it's a synthetic opioid, fentanyl, on a rapid rise.
Over half the deaths from overdoses that we're seeing right now in America are caused by the...
I want you guys to realize that this is a Democrat speaking. Democrat. A lot of people on the southern border who are Democrats are also echoing the same sentiment and also contradicting the laughing hyena standpoint. The Vice President Kamala Harris saying the border is not secure. People are being trafficked and smuggled. Child trafficking is happening. Fentanyl is being crossed across our borders. And guess what? We have liberal media. There's a publication out as a few days ago, literally blaming this on U.S. citizens. They're blaming it on you. They're telling you are the one that's bringing these drugs into it. You, as the American citizen, are trafficking fentanyl, not the migrants. It's insane what they're doing. They're literally lying to us. Bullface lie.
Synthetic opioid fentanyl.
Because of fentanyl, overdose deaths have exploded. Now, when I first saw this graph, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It looks like the income of everyone in Destiny's Child.
Half to 1% of fentanyl users will die. And if we lost close to 300 last year, then we're looking at 30,000. I think we're probably more looking at 40, 50, maybe even 60,000 people using.
You don't protect the border. Fentanyl is coming to this country and also into Atlanta. 70% of the
I want you guys to look at his body language, Mr. Warnock. Literally shrugged it off. Literally, and then proceeds to say after this, I don't have this clip in there, but proceeds to say that what Warnock is saying is an absolute lie. Are you kidding me? Raphael, people see right through the lies. As a pastor, I'm sure you've buried more people than your both hands can count who have died to fentanyl overdoses. Pastors should know firsthand. This is why people are frustrated, especially with people in politics.
Drugs coming from the border goes to Atlanta, Georgia.
This cares right now about the economy and cares also about the border. We want secure borders. We don't want to see this humanitarian crisis continue. It's heartbreaking to see, the hundreds of immigrants that are dying because of the dangers that they're going through. And we also don't want to see fentanyl continue to come into our country and land in the hands of our children.
Yeah.
And if you haven't taken the time to talk to your child about fentanyl, please do so. This is a very dangerous drug that is killing hundreds of Americans every single day.
Another issue that the left seems to be ignoring, especially when you talk about it in Halloween candy. It's been ridiculous to watch them backtrack on that.
Another issue that the left seems to continue to ignore, folks. Time and time again, you will see Democrats ignore this issue that are not mainstream. There are southern border Democrats who do not sound like your table conversation Democrats. They don't sound like Joe Biden. They don't sound like Kamala Harris. They don't sound like Gavin Newsom. They don't sound like Gretchen Whitmer. They don't sound like Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas over there in upstate, upper northeast area. They don't sound like all these people that claim to be speaking about those kitchen bedside conversations. They don't sound like them. So why do you continue to vote for them? They're not solving this issue. They expose it, provide no trade-offs. Perhaps the trade-off is buying another bill. Hey, let's another 1.2 trillion. That's the trade-off. That only fuels more. To lower the cost of prescription drugs, do you really think that's going to solve the fentanyl crisis? Do you really think that's going to push back against that? No, it only continues to inflame that problem. Rather than to confront why we need medication in the first place. Ask the hard questions. Don't be politically insensitive. Don't be, you can't tell me that. If you are having comorbidities, which COVID has realized and revealed to us that if you have these comorbidities, you're more likely to. You ever heard that? In the last 2-3 years, maybe? If you have more comorbidities, you're more likely to what? Die, be incubated, go through all these things, right? What can we do to challenge those comorbidities? This is why I think Mehmet Oz even ran for public office. Maybe people are going to say, well, no, Donald Trump pushed him. This is another extremist. No, if you listen to him, I listened to Mehmet Oz days before he said he was going to run. He was on WABC 770 on the radio station in the Northeast. He was talking about we need to be more educated about our health. We need to take things into consideration. Passing bills to throw medicine at a problem that could be fixed solely with your independence is not the solution. It's only going to breed more and more issues down the line. People more and more are going to be addicted to drugs. People more and more are going to die at the hands of malpractice suits. Now, I love doctors. I love what they do. But at the end of the day, if I could do anything to stay out of a hospital room, best believe I'm going to do it. And I know a lot of you will. I know a lot of you have the same squinty eye, side eye looking at the medical industry. It's not about how they can squeeze you out of all the money in the world. The insurance company is going to do what they do. We live in a capitalist society. They're going to capitalize on whatever they can. But you don't have to allow them in this society. You don't have to depend on them. You don't have to depend on government. And that's what America First politicians reveal to us. You don't have to depend on us. But what we want to do is create a society that would be more advantageous for you so that you can, one, pay your taxes, no problem, right? Have a business, supply the need, supply and demand, and we don't have to print money. And we can kill the deficit that way. It looked like we were on that trajectory with the former president. It may have looked like, hey, you know what? Hey, but he passed a big package. He did. Ask me if he was going to pass another one, and another one, and another one, like the Democrats are. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And they wonder why we're in this predicament. I want to also examine this Liz Cheney clip here that I find so nefarious, insidious. I mean, all the nasty, disgusting words. This woman's on the way out. And of course, Meet the Press, the Democrats, want to give her some airtime to continue staining the name of the Republicans. Liz Cheney, I'm going to say this twice, and I repeat it. I'm going to repeat it. Liz Cheney is the very reason why a lot of people who did not look like her wanted to be in the Republican Party. Why people had a disdain for the Republican Party. Why people were like on the fence with the Republican Party, because they don't like her rhetoric. They don't like that it's either this or that. You're either with me or you're a Putin sympathizer. You're either with me or you're an election denier. You're either with me or you're a threat to democracy. This is why a lot of people of Hispanic descent, blacks, Asian, did not want to be a part of this Republican Party. Why do they want to be a part of it now? Because they don't speak that way. The ones who are elected to office, the one that replaced her, does not speak that way. Why don't these dum-dums get that through their thick skulls? Do not speak that way because we won't vote for you. Don't tell me that I can't question this. Don't tell me that I can't have suspicions of this. Don't tell me that I can't ask these kinds of questions. Christina Carlarmo, running for state secretary in Michigan. Don't tell her she can't have her faith and challenge the norm of gender fluidity. Don't tell her that she's not educated. Don't tell her she's of a second class. By the way, I want to give a good shout out to Glenn, aka Full Service, Mr. Full Service, on an awesome Sunday show when he talked about the whole idea of people kissing the feet of black people. That you're acknowledging that you have more privilege just by the way you look is in and of itself racist. By you simply saying that no matter what I do, when I do, who I am, what I am, no matter my character, no matter any of that, I have more of a chance, more advantages than you just purely off the superficial. Like you're just kowtowing. You're giving them what they want. This is the argument that they're looking for. And I love the other point he made. And we're going to move on really fast. I love the other point he made here. And if you missed that show, you can check that out on the YouTube channel. Go to Morning Fix Live Radio Show on the YouTube channel. And you can see Simply Sundays. I even titled it. You guys can check that out and see how he started. He started off with a bang. He was talking about the walk-away debate. One thing he said is that the definition of racism doesn't fit the caricature of what it should be. Why? Because they add a power paradigm. And he said if that were true, then you wouldn't solely focus on whites. You would focus on Asians who have the most equitable outcomes, better equitable outcomes. They have the more intact families. They have the least amount of crime or criminal representation in the prison system. However, I will throw in this. You have the highest depression rate in the Asian community, highest suicide rate. That's it. And that could come with the pressure of living up to those standards. I will put it out there like that. However, they are still the most powerful in this country. Equitable. They have the highest income per capita, the least representation in prison, despite the fact that they're facing massive discrimination in the Ivy League institutions. And we'll take it a step further, even in the standardized or the specialized high schools. in the Northeast. They're being massively discriminated against. And despite all that, their power still remains. So are they systemically racist towards Black Americans, brown Americans? No. But what they did was to add more of an umbrella to that racism term. They say now Asians are white adjacent. Great point, Mr. Full Service. You knocked it out of the park. You knocked it right out of the park. So the only way to justify my rhetoric, I have to skew the whole definition, and you wonder why we don't trust you. You wonder why we don't back you. You wonder why we can't build a bridge with you. Because there is no bridge to be built. It's either an island or you're in the water. That's how it is with these people. All right, here we go. Let's go back to Liz Cheney and her nasty, toxic rhetoric. I don't know why they still give her talking time, but here's her speaking here.
I'm going to ignore the threat posed by a former president who attempted to use force to stop, to overturn an election, to stop the count of electoral votes.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Who attempted to use force to stop, to overturn an election, to stop the count of electoral votes.
If the sitting president of the United States attempts to use force, folks, it will not look like in the way it did in January 6th. I promise you that. The guy could, with the flip of a phone call, could get the United States Marines. It's the only branch of military that goes based on his say-so. He says, and they go. He says how high, he says jump, they say how high. There is no, well, we're America first. The Marines go where the president say they go. That means if he gives a direct order for them to go to the Capitol, guess where the United States Marines will be? At the Capitol. And this is where I start to say, he threatened to use force? And people are buying this bullshit? What force did he threaten to use? People's animus and anger? That's what you're talking about? Because we have a list of examples of how many Democrats have used the animus. We have Crazy Maxine, Nancy Pelosi. We have even guys like Benny Thompson have used the animus of society to cause what? Absolute destruction. Over $1 billion in riots. BLM, Patrice Waters, right? Patrice Collars, excuse me. These folks have utilized your anger to cause absolute destruction, chaos, and anarchy. The anarchy that most anarchists that we see on TikTok are not about. Because anarchists are not about destroying property. They're about building you up. So if you want to build your business, your property, cool. They're about destroying and destabilizing a government. That's different. That's a different conversation altogether. But this is what I find completely incredible. And the fact that she can go on with this lie. And of course, this tells you liberal media will just allow the red carpet here, folks, and allow her to say what she wants to say. Because why? They believe that the former president was a danger to society, a threat to democracy.
I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore these people who embrace him. I'm going to ignore the danger. And I'm just going to focus on the near term. Is the Republican Party going to prevail?
Why do you think more Republicans can't look? I just came back from Georgia. Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, Brian Kemp, the governor, both beat back Trump challenges. Now, they didn't use anti-Trump rhetoric to do it, but they won. And they look like they're going to be in better shape. Why do you think other Republicans can't look at that and say, oh, it's good politics, not bad politics?
You know, my hope is that ultimately our party will come back to that. I think it may take a couple of election cycles to do that. But I think, you know, people need to understand they're not bystanders. They're accountable for their actions, the people who are excusing and appeasing and enabling.
This is why this is going to be incredible to see. The country is going to be at an extreme disarray, extreme amount of confrontation because of these people, not because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just a guy who's going to run and going to win in 2024. Okay? I'm going to say that right now, right here, right clear. It is October 24th, 2022. The guy's going to run in 2024 and he's going to win. And the reason why there's going to be animus, anger, frustration, violence, riots, destruction of property is because of people like this, not because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has never once said to destroy, never once said to riot, never once said to do this. The only time I ever heard that man say peacefully protest was on January 6th. Out of the 5 or 6 years prior, because 2 years prior, Out of the 5 or 6 years of him being a politician, I've never heard him say to peacefully protest, other than January 6th. But every time Maxine Waters gets together and does her preaching, kumbaya, it's a peacefully protest. It's to push back on them. It's to raise a hell on them. It's to speak up. It's either you get the right verdict or not. All right, this is absolutely asinine to me. This is crazy to me. This is crazy talk. Let's continue to hear Crazy Liz.
Are also responsible for the impact of that. And words matter. And when you support and endorse somebody who said that they only will honor results if
Words
they win,
matter.
then you are responsible and
If words matter, then you would have never mischaracterized the former president for using violence against the government. He never did. Never did he attempt to use violence against the government. You could say his rhetoric vicariously. His rhetoric is what then caused the animus of people to do this and that. Challenge him on his rhetoric. Don't make up actions. Don't make it up and think, oh, all of a sudden we got to see it. No, I'm not going to see what you're trying to sell. This is ridiculous.
Accountable for that.
Well, somebody who's been walking this line has been Mitch McConnell. On one hand,
I
think
God.
you and him see eye to eye on some things, the danger of Trump and all of this. But I want to bring up an excerpt in a book that Jonathan Martin and Alex Burns wrote. And that this is about McConnell. McConnell found the whole Liz Cheney saga confusing. In his mind, she was
really
committing
don't care about this.
Without him continuing to have power and authority. That's clearly not the case. And my view from the beginning has been, we have to, as a party, reject insurrection. We have to reject what he stands for. I don't think this is an issue about which you can make a political calculation. I think it matters too much. So clearly, Leader McConnell and I do not see eye to eye on this.
He had a chance to vote to convict Donald Trump. Do you think how much of a mistake do you think that?
Mistake. I think it was the wrong decision. I think the fact that all of the Republicans who did not vote to convict, some did, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a situation.
Here's my problem. The reason why they didn't vote to convict is the same reason why they didn't vote to convict Bill Clinton. Because we can do this all we want here in the Senate chambers and the House. It's all fine and dandy and political. There's another layer to this that you have to answer to, and that is our criminal justice system. That's why they didn't convict him. Because what do you got in the grandstand of things? Are we going to literally subvert the vote of the people? That would be a threat to democracy. Without any substantial criminal charges? You're going to subvert the vote of millions of people because you don't like the way the man is conducting himself. You had many people make the argument for Bill Clinton. And yes, he was impeached, but he was exonerated of crimes, as he should have been. Cheating on your spouse is not a crime, but lying is. And yet he was still exonerated. This is incredible to me, folks. This is absolutely incredible how they think we have amnesia. They really do believe we buy this BS.
Situation where I would have liked to have seen that trial take place immediately. I don't think that the article of impeachment should have been held. I think there were a number of people responsible for the delay in that trial, but that was a mistake. And I think clearly this was an impeachable offense for which Donald Trump should have been convicted.
Has it made you think less of McConnell?
I don't. He and I do not agree on this issue.
Yeah, because people don't care.
This is a mistake. That he will. You are concerned about his speakership. What specifically concerns you?
Well, look, the speaker is second in line to the presidency, and at every moment since, frankly, the aftermath of the election in 2020,
he's third in line. By the way, just don't jump over the vice president. But okay.
When Minority Leader McCarthy has had the opportunity to do the right thing or do something that serves his own political purpose, he always chooses to serve his own political purpose. And, that extends to what we've seen.
I say this time and time again when I talk off air with Keisha. And she's like, why are we listening? Why do we talk about these issues? Because people listen. They're speaking to their constituency. I want to get through to you. I can't get through to the politician without getting through to you. This is why I want to have people who have different mindsets on this show, on the chat. Talk to me. Comment on my page. Comment in my videos. Hey, let's have a conversation here on air. I don't care. I don't want to get through to the politician because the politician only wants to get through to you. They only want to speak what you think or what you believe or what they believe you should be thinking like. So yes, Speaker McCarthy is going to speak to his constituent base. He's not in for his own interests, just like Liz is not for her own interests. She wanted to go off on her own shtick because she sees a lot of moderate conservatives agree with her. And she was banking on that. Well, guess what? There are a lot more America First conservatives than there are those moderate, wishy-washy ones. And that's why you lost in Montana. That's why you're no longer a politician after January so-and-so, whatever day. And you're going to have to now suck that up, get back to the drawing boards, but it's clear and evident that you're still going to go off on your own shtick, so much so that you're going to leave the Republican Party. Mark my words, folks. She's leaving the Republican Party. She's going to go over to the Democrat Party. She's going to go to a liberal state. She's going to literally raise that banner and say, look at what I was able to do. I challenged the Republican Party. Look how well that's working out for Charlie Crist in Florida. Charlie Crist is going to get shellapped. He is not going to win against DeSantis, not even close. You can't cheat that way through that gap. I'm sorry. Because people don't forget. They see what's going on. They can see right through the charade. And once they do, they just won't buy it. That's it. They won't buy it. It was Wyoming. Sorry, I said Montana. Thank you, AJ. Wrong state. All right, let's go back to Liz, see what else she says here.
Just in the last few days with these comments about aid to Ukraine, the idea that somehow the party is now no longer going to support the Ukrainian people, which, you know, for somebody who has a picture of Ronald Reagan on the wall of his office in the Capitol, the notion that now Kevin McCarthy is going to make himself the leader of the pro-Putin wing of my party is just a stunning thing. It's dangerous. He knows better. But the fact that he's willing to go down the...
What was the point you were making about Ronald Reagan? That's number one. You didn't make one. And then you want to throw an insult to call it the pro-Putin wing. Who? Name one Republican, anyone who's watching this, anyone who cares to give me time, who disagrees adamantly to any of my content. Tell me one Republican that's pro-Putin. Not even Liz Cheney is pro-Putin. Name me one Republican that's pro-Putin. I'll wait. And I won't hold my breath because you're not going to find one. In fact, I'll go as far as this. Name me one politician that's pro-Putin. This is why people are not buying this, folks. Now, we could make the argument and say, hey, the fact that Democrats are signing off on sending all this money and this and that, sanction, all that stuff could be seen as this. That's perception. I'm asking, who came out publicly and said they're pro-Putin? No one. So what is she making? She's making a whole bunch of mess out of nothing. It's what Bo Schnurley would say is a nothing burger. This is so bad to make this kind of claim because if a real journalist, anyone who was worth their salt, would have literally asked her, wait, how is McCarthy pro-Putin? I was just curious. And watch her answer. She won't be able to have one. She's just making a grandiose statement to just be able to say what she wants to say, and there's really nothing to back it. Hello, Foxy. How you doing? If you disagree, go ahead. Throw it in the chat. There's not one politician in the United States that's pro-Putin. Not one. Not one. All right, let's move on.
The path of suggesting that America will no longer stand for freedom, I think tells you he's willing to sacrifice everything for his own political gain.
Do you think at all this is just gamesmanship? He just wants the Democrats to do it in the lame duck? Or do you think this is a reflection of an isolationist streak that's actually taking hold inside the Republican Party?
We certainly have isolationists inside our party. We have isolationists inside the Democratic Party as well. But but leaders have to lead. And when you have the leader of the Republican Party suggesting that we can play with the fire of isolationism, suggesting that somehow the American people will not support the fight for freedom, which is the front lines of freedom right now happening.
You want to support the fight for freedom? What about Somalia? You want to support the fight for freedom? What about in Iran? The very place that your president, Joe Biden, wants to give nuclear weapons to. You want to talk about the fight for freedom? Tell me how the women are living in Iran. You want to talk about the fight for freedom? Tell me how the women are living in some regions, in some countries in Africa. You want to talk about the fight for freedom? Tell me how the women are living in Somalia, to which America is actually trying to do something about it there, at the very least. But I find it incredible that you say, well, we can't support isolationism because we need to be about the fight for freedom. Really? Only when it pertains to Ukraine? As far as I know, when I look back, Ukraine was just as free as they were before the war as they are now. Ukraine is in the war with Russia because Ukraine wanted to take up that fight. And you know who's enabling that? Joe Biden and the Democrats. And Ted Cruz also supported this too. Why are we supporting a war right after a freaking pandemic that put everyone on their ass? Why did they find this an opportune time to support the freedom for people? For what? For what? Honestly, could they have not mitigate through this? Could they have not said, hey, let's put this aside. Let's put our pride aside. Let's figure it out. Why is the president of Ukraine still demanding more money from the American government? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, this is ridiculous. I just don't understand how any of these politicians could say we can't be isolationist, but we could worry about the isolation of Ukraine, literally segregating themselves from Russia. Ukraine first, right? And we want to worry about the borders of Ukraine, but don't even want to worry about the borders of our own country. You know what's that saying in the Bible? Worry about your own home before you worry about the before you worry about the speck in someone else's eye, worry about the log in your own eye. That's the words that came from Jesus in the Gospels. All right, let's continue.
In Ukraine, the battle between Putin and Zelensky. And the notion that he would be willing to embrace that, to enable it, tells you he's just not fit for the office.
I want to ask you a little bit more about what's going on. We have Iran now on the ground in Ukraine.
I find it so hilarious that right after she talks about the freedom of these countries, they bring up Iran. It's incredible. Tell me what the freedom is like for women in Iran. What happened why are they protesting in Iran? Because a woman didn't properly wear her hijab and she was killed by the police? Why are they, what's the freedom like over there in Iran? Where are the Talibs and Ilhan Omars? Where are you guys? Talking about the freedom rights. Free Palestine, right? Tell me how a Islamic woman is living in Palestine under Hamas's terrorist rule. Tell me how they're living. Why are they fleeing? Why are they running from those men? You want to talk about toxic masculinity in America, but fail to talk about toxic masculinity that exists in the Middle East. Because as far as I know, I don't see men killing a woman for not wearing her hijab in America. Just saying.
Helping the Russians. At the same time, Iran sits on OPEC. Our supposed ally, Saudi Arabia, who doesn't like Iran, is sitting here making decisions that essentially are helping the Russians, helping the Iranians, hurting the West. What should our foreign policy?
We ought to absolutely and clearly walk away from the negotiating table with the Iranians. The notion that the Iranians are now providing these drones to the Russians to use in Ukraine.
All because they're helping out the wrong team. There's no real morals in this woman. All because they're helping out Putin. Iran is helping out Putin, therefore. No, Iran is just all the way fucked up. Can we just be honest? They're not a well-run country. And the mere fact that we spent 20 years trying to solve anything over there is absolutely asinine to me. Well, I've never forgiven the Bush administration for that. And for that matter, I would never forgive the Obama administration for that. But out of both those presidents, Donald Trump was pulling troops from Middle East. He was literally doing it strategically to ultimately get all the troops out. But Joe Biden wanted to grandstand and pull them out without proper strategic order. All because he wants to be the party that says, and the president that says, hey, I pulled them out, putting all those women in jeopardy. Guys, I understand the 13 soldiers that were killed. I understand that. But think of the millions of women now who grew up under this kind of freedom democracy have to subject themselves to Sharia law. I want you to really visualize that. You go from being free when you were born 20 years ago to now being restricted as an adult woman. This is all you know, to now this is what you got to live under. Yeah, there you go. Have that. And to add more insult to injury of what Democrats continue to avoid, I love how the best way to wrap up this show today is none other than Mayor Eric Adams. By the way, Eric Adams created that whole tent city in Randall's Island, which is adjacent to Manhattan. It's right next to Manhattan. It's kind of like a secluded area where they have a lot of baseball fields, softball fields. They even have a psych ward there, and they have the FDNY training facility there. They also have a state troopers barracks there on Randall's Island. It's kind of a weird island, but it's a multi-purpose use island. It's not a livable island. No one technically lives on the island except for like a few officials that actually live there. There are a few officials that actually live there. And the psych ward. People live in the psych ward. However, Eric Adams created a tent city for migrants. Wouldn't you like to know how many migrants live in that tent city after all those millions were funneled into this? They said not even a family is existing in a tent city that can house up to 500 people. Oh, I wonder where all that money's going. I bet you guys too. But just like he failed in that and in that endeavor, he's failing on crime here in New York City, despite the fact that arrests have gone up. What does it matter to arrest a person when they can just go right before the criminal justice system and be right back out on the street the same day? A lot of these arrests are repetitive, folks. But it's not that he's saying, hey, we're making arrests, we're seizing guns, we're doing this. Sure. But why is crime still skyrocketing? Perhaps you have a leader who speaks like this.
To deal with the shooting of a child in Rockaway. But when you do an analysis of the subway crimes we are seeing, you're seeing that it's being driven by people with mental health issues. I mean, if you got a ninja outfit on and you're running around with a sword, swinging at people, I mean, something is wrong. Michelle Gold's murder.
Anytime I hear people bring up mental health issues, the same thing that I say that the Republicans will bring up mental health with mass shootings. Stop it. Mental health is a long-term issue. Mental health didn't just sneak up on us. That person with the sword wearing a freaking costume didn't sneak up on us. You know what snuck up on us? When a wife snaps because her husband is cheating on her. When a husband snaps because he wants to leave his wife for another woman and have a whole nother family. That's what sneaks up on us. What doesn't sneak up on us is mental health issues in the homeless, mental health issues in just regular society, gang violence, violence in general. It's repetitive and it continues to happen. And the fact that he could say something like this and get away with this is ridiculous. Whether they're wearing a costume and a sword or a hoodie and a gun, it doesn't matter. If it's a crime-related incident, are we dealing with that incident? And are we pushing and pressuring the criminal justice system to get those people where they need to be? Now, as a result, too, are we also helping to deal with that issue? Because I would argue that the mayor before had a wife who argued to help with this issue, but took $1 billion and somehow that went somewhere. I wonder where it went. Hopefully someone who's watching this can tell me.
You're seeing this mental health issue that we are facing. There's a small number of people with mental health issues that we need to make sure they have community, health care.
A lot of people who live in New York City have to ride those subways have mental health issues. Stop it. Please stop it.
And the support that they need. That is where we're focusing on. The stabbings you're seeing, the shoving people on the subway system that you're seeing, the attacks that you're seeing, they're mental health issues. And so
they're conducted by unhoused people that shouldn't be there. Unhoused is the new term for homeless, by the way, folks. They're conducted by homeless people who we've already known have mental issues, because to be homeless, to live out in the street and not try to figure out a way to pick yourself up and get back into a house, to not have family to lean on to sleep on their couch, to rather live on the street than to stay indoors, tells me already you have mental issues. Think about it, folks. We've had this issue for years. What was successful about Giuliani? He wasn't afraid to use the police to crack down. And he still wouldn't be afraid to do it. Not like this guy who's wearing a nice press suit, who doesn't want to be looked bad by the media. God forbid if he does.
So part of our public safety plan, making sure the police are there, but we have to have that mental health aspect of it. We've done some things. We got
long term.
The encampments off our system. We removed.
Mental health is a long-term issue. Using cuffs is a short-term issue. Remember that. When the police officer is harassing you, you might hate it. Oh, this feels like an authoritarian. When you have a city that has about approximately 16 million people, listen, I don't want to hear about your comfort. I want to hear about your amendment rights. Yes, your amendment rights, if they're violated, argue that in court, not on the street. But right now, our job as police officers wearing this uniform is to make sure that there's orderly conduct in the street. Period. The end. Next, moving on.
Over 2,000 people who are living on the system to put them in safe havens. But we have to do more. The system
we have to do more.
Actually,
we have to pivot and shift. We have to pivot and shift. How are you pivoting and shift, Mr. Mayor? How are you pivoting and shift? And, you know, the media is not buying it here in New York City. One of the hardest media is New York because they're not afraid to ask certain questions, such as this one. Guess what? How does he see crime? A perception.
But crime is up. August was terrible in New York City.
Morning, great to be back. Great seeing you yesterday.
Mayor, so let's talk about crime. We can talk semantics on crime, but lately you've been saying, and I've heard you say it too at some charity events, that it's the perception of crime. It's not as bad as everybody thinks it is, but crime is up. August was terrible in New York City. I think there were over 783 attacks on people on the subway, the workers there. The numbers are up. Why does it?
This is why, and we're going to be talking more as the midterms come close, as the governor election. I'm not 100% behind Zeldin. I'd rather Zeldin than Hochul. I was more sure. I liked Harry Wilson. I liked Andrew Giuliani. I thought he needs a little bit more sharpening up. So he's going to be a governor or a mayor of New York at some point in the future. But Harry Wilson was a good candidate. Really liked him. Lee Zeldin is the candidate that will work with both parties. Knowing that we have a Democrat-run state Senate here in New York City, Lee Zeldin is the best option to work with that. Let me tell you something about what Lee Zeldin wants to do. He wants to deal with the actual issue, not what Eric Adams is talking about, the perception of the issue. This is what Democrats want to denegate and want to deflect. Says, hey, it may appear to be this way, but it not really is that way. Lee Zeldin saying it is that way. I'm in the subways. I'm running around. You have a guy who's running for governor of the state, and yet he has done more trips around New York City than Governor Hochul has done around the entire state. I want you guys to think about that. And Governor Hochul and now soon-to-be candidate, which is leading in the polls right now, Lee Zeldin, running for governor of New York State, is actually going to have a debate tomorrow at Pace University on New York 1. I'm interested to see how that debate turns out. But here's a little bit more of what Eric Adams' response to this perception of crime.
it seem like you're blaming the media for the perception of crime?
No, it's about how do we feel, and this is what I learned in my early days of policing. If I just throw the stats at the public, murders are down, shootings are down, 47% increase in arrests in our subway system, and we're actually down in.
Let me explain something to you guys why shooting is down. Shooting is not down because of what anything the cops are doing. Let me tell you why the shootings are down. Any cop who wants to challenge me on this, anybody who's from New York want to challenge me on this, you're free to do so. I'll send you a link. We'll go live together tomorrow right here on my show. Everyone knows why shooting goes down during this time of year in New York City. You know why? What is happening in New York City right now? What season are we in? Are people more likely to be hanging out in front of the bodega, out in the streets, or they're more likely to hang out at home? Listen, there are oppositions, oppositional gangs. People are not out there lurking. People are not out there standing. People are not congregating. So shootings are naturally going to go down. They're going to spike up again. So they tend to go down when it starts to get cold. When people get used to the cold, guess what happens? The shooting goes up again. When people got their winter jackets on, they're back out in front of the store again. Everybody's chilling, and you know, now they start to feel perplexed. They're sipping on the Henny too much. Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pull this thing that I've been hiding in my coat all day, and I'm going to shoot you with it. Guess what? You get to conceal the weapons better now. Once they figure out this transition piece, guess what? Shootings, look at historical shootings that happens. They usually spike up in November. They spike up in December. That's why we have massacres that happen right after Christmas, right after Thanksgiving. So yeah, you can ride on that, Mr. Mayor, but as a cop for 20 plus years, you should know that why the shootings go down in October. Give me a break. Stop it.
Index crime from compared to 2019, 2018, 2017. Those are the numbers. But how do we feel? New Yorkers must feel safe, and we must deal with the actual crimes at the same time. And that's what I'm saying, that until New Yorkers are feeling safe, we're not going to be successful.
We're not that fickle here in New York, by the way, guys. I want to let everybody know this. Even your progressive person is not that fickle in New York. I'm sorry. If they are going to work and they're being harassed and groped and catcalled to the point where they feel unsafe because of those actions, guess what? That's not a perception, Mr. Adams. That's a lack of security that's going on in New York City subway system. The amount of gropings that happen, the amount of sexual misconduct that happens, the amount of forcible touching, the amount of rapes that are happening, the amount of assaults, aggravated assaults are all skyrocketing. Yeah, shootings are down. Yeah, guns are being seized. Yeah, gang members are being arrested. But the robberies are ticking up and the sexual assaults are ticking up. That's what normally happens this time of year. And it's not about a perception. The reason why people are not riding your subways, Mr. Adams, is because you're not dealing with it. You're not dealing with it. In fact, you delegate, you deflect and say, it's only 6 crimes a day. Only 6 felonies a day happening in the city subway system. That's it. Only. This stuff, what these people are talking about, is the reason why one of my coworkers likes to say, listen, Macho, they just want you to look at the stars. They don't want you to think with common sense. They never want you to really think this analytically, this deep. Because for people like you, you're extreme. People like you, you're too involved. You're too focused. You're too hyper-focused. They don't want people like you. They want people who just live in their lives, roaming around, staring at the stars. Not me. Not anyone on the Morning Fix, that's for sure.
Totally agree with you, because we walk around the streets of New York, and you know I'm a diehard New Yorker just like you. And you're just waiting. You feel like there's ticking time bombs everywhere you look, and you don't know if you're going to be the next one, because it's not just guns anymore, Mayor Adams. It's knives now, too. Random pushings from behind on the streets and in the subways.
And that is exactly what I am saying. And part of...
No, it's not what you're saying. She's saying it's not just guns anymore. It's knives. that means there's still attacks. They're still happening. It's not a perception. Perception is what I think may happen or what I'm seeing with my lying eyes, and it's not really happening. No, it's happening. I don't want to have a politician. I guarantee you, if his job was up this year, he would be boasted by another Democrat. Hell, if Curtis Sliwa right now, who is talking about the real issues, Curtis Sliwa, by the way, I was on the fence with him before, but man, I listened to his show yesterday and he absolutely knocked it out of the water. If I'm ever graced to ever have a conversation, I have a lot of questions to ask him, but if I could ever have him on this show, I would. There's some things I disagree with him about, but man, he knocked it out of the water. He says, when you don't deal with the crime in this city, you won't have the turnouts in the bars and the restaurants. By whom? Whom does this perception or the actual crime really affect the most? You know what Sliwa said? Women. When women are not safe in this city, your revenue drives all the way down. And you know what he said? He said it very practically. He said this. Who are you going to have at the bars? Who are you going to have at the clubs? A bunch of men dancing around with their thing in their hands? Or are you going to have are you going to have women there flaunting themselves, playing this song and dance game with them? That's what drives up your revenue. You have no honey pots out there. When women don't feel safe, they're not going to be out there having a good time in the restaurants, in the clubs, in the bars. You're not going to have that. This is the slowest recovering city in the entire United States. And the referendum is not on the people. It's on the government, the state government. That's why I believe Lee Zeldin's going to change that. Because there are a lot more people leaving New York than coming back. Don't let them lie to you. Oh, no, they're coming back. They're coming back. No, they're not. They're not coming back. People are leaving this. Businesses are leaving New York City. This used to be the pinnacle. This used to be the place where, come on. So I'm saying this, with this whole idea of the perception, I call bogus. It's actually happening, and cops are handcuffed. They can't do the things they used to do, especially under people like Giuliani. Period. All right, one more time, one more clip run through, and then we'll go.
That we could equate to the small number of people who are dealing with mental health issues. If you look at some of the assaults, the pushings, the stabbings, and then you look at the common denominator, there's a mental health crisis on our streets.
So what this tells me is Eric Adams is not going to solve your issue. People who have mental health issues should not be in the street, period. I don't care whether they go to a doctor or they go to the pound. I don't care. But the fact that they're not giving enough resources and aid and finances. By the way, there are district attorneys writing letters, Democrat district attorneys writing letters to the Democrat-controlled state secretary of New York City saying, hey, we do not have enough money to pay our ADAs and provide them with the resources they need to do the 24 points to certify a conviction or certify an allegation or charge. That's all evidence. If you're not being able to pay them, guess what happens to those lawyers? Hey, I'm an Esquire. I don't have to deal with this. I'm out. ADAs are leaving the job. Yes, you can get the ones coming out of college if they got nothing else, but guarantee you, they get a calling from a big time firm. They get a calling from a nice place where they can just sit down, cushion, having a good, nice cushion seat and have just write depositions all day and get paid six figures. Guess what? They're out. I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. This is ridiculous what's going on. They need to change the discovery laws so that these people do not go back into society. If they have a mental health issue, the prosecutor should be able to argue that initially, and the person should not be released without bail. I'm sorry. Put the person in the hospital. Put the person in a 72-hour watch until we get back to court. I don't care. Whatever. Give the justices the more power and stop examining them as racist. Stop it with the bullshit. Because I guarantee you the ones who are most affected in New York City are not the rich whites who are living in 96th Street, 86th Street, 59th Street, living in these rich, fancy hotels that have security at the bottom of their lobbies that can call 911 and 911 will be there in 2 seconds. You know who is most affected by this perception of crime? The people living in Bushwick, Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant, otherwise known as Sty Heights now, Brownsville, New York, Rockaway, Queens, Jamaica, Queens, the Bronx. We're talking about Yankee Stadium, Bedford Park Boulevard. We're talking about Fordham Road. We're talking about places like Marshalloo Parkway that's never really mentioned. These are dirty, disgusting, crime-ridden areas. Hey, what about on the 6 train line? Where we got 3rd Avenue, 138th Street. We got places like Hunts Point. These places are not places that you want to live in. They're the ones that are most affected by the perception of crime, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you. It's ridiculous. We need actual leaders who are going to deal with these issues, not talk about and say how we're deluded by the perception of crime. Give me a break. Folks, that does it for this edition of the Morning Fix live radio show here on Monday. I hope you guys watch this show. A school shooting in St. Louis. Guess we're going to be covering that tomorrow. But keep it locked. We're probably going to keep beat on this, the information on this school shooting in St. Louis. And we'll be right back here at 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Like, subscribe, click the notification so that when we go live, folks, you get that notification right to your device. We'll be right back here. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your Monday.